The people could know I like salty snacks.
All right, Chris, kick it off.
All right, guys, it's the first Monday of the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New
And
Year.
it's the first Monday of the month, so you know what that means.
Rent
It's movie night with Adam, Sabrina, Andy, Joe, and Chris, and we are the Seamen on film. Going through the Navy, have you guys, how many times did you hear seaman jokes from people? And then you had the one-uppers that had to pile on those seaman jokes. We call it piggybacking, we call it one-upping. Andy, how many have you heard?
From people in the Navy or
Navy, Marines, Army?
I mean, there's probably at least a good dozen that are good. The rest, you kind of lose track of the bad ones.
Have you guys ever heard, like, yeah, I was on a ship with a guy named Seaman Staines?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
Sabrina,
what have you heard?
It's almost as bad as me hearing the car eyeliner jokes, but I do correspond with one of the Army podcasts, and like he does the seaman jokes, and I'm like, all right, just get it out of your system already, because when you heard it once, you heard it, all of them.
Sabrina, you
You're
had
not going
something?
to tell us one of them?
Seaman Stains, yeah, I served with them.
Okay. I bought headphones when I was in the Navy and stopped listening to men. I heard them and then I was like, that's enough.
Yeah, it was like, okay, once you said that, then it's like, oh, I knew a guy who had seaman lips.
It's like funny like the first time, and then I was definitely over it. So
You just start laughing. Yeah, homophones are fun.
we all think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
How long were you a
Everybody's
seaman?
okay.
Well, we were fire controlmen. We were seamen for 6 months. That's it.
I was a seaman while I was in boot camp, and then I became an airman. So I got to avoid a lot of those.
I have to rename the group now because of you. That's okay.
Hey,
though.
I've been on 2 different carriers though.
Oh shit.
Let me tell you, worst 2 years of my life on an aircraft carrier. But that's just 2 years. What I want to talk about tonight is this 2 hours of this movie.
It's a long
Oh.
movie.
Last Action Hero was the movie of choice this month. And I want to know if you guys just give me your first thoughts on the movie, Adam.
It's a lot longer than I remember it being. There's 2 endings. The ending in the film movie, and then the real life ending. And then while we were watching it, I started to think that they made the movie just to get all the cheesiness out of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, let's get all the have this built up one-liner for Arnold Schwarzenegger in me, and I want him to say everything, and I feel like that's what happened. But I think it was just as good as I remember it being. And I watched it when I was a kid, obviously, and I hadn't seen it since.
So you thought it was gonna be like a money shot of his cheesiness?
Yeah.
Okay. Money Shot, another seaman reference there.
Yep.
I see what you did there.
Sabrina, I think you're the youngest one of the group. Have you ever watched this before?
No, I've never seen
And
it.
what were your thoughts going in, and what were your thoughts coming out?
I was intrigued by the premise of it going in, because I was like, well, at least this is kind of interesting, because it plays on it's a joke on the world of action 80s, so that's kind of fun. And I like satire, so cool. It was better than I thought it was, but also
Worse.
I feel like I don't have to ever watch an 80s action movie, because this kind of was like a crash course in all of the best and worst parts of them. So I don't know exactly what to think of it from there, but I did enjoy it. I wish I'd watched it another time just so that I could get a better grasp of it. But yeah, I mean, I mostly liked it.
That's funny that you say you don't have to watch an 80s action movie. I picked this one because it wasn't a straight up action. You know, out of all the 90s action movies, I didn't want to watch Under Siege again. That came on like every day this past month, or Tombstone, things like that.
Well, like because it plugged in all of like the most quintessential parts of what makes an action movie and they pointed them all out. I felt like this was a movie straight for a movie lover. And because it pointed out all those things, I now feel like, oh, I know what 80s action is about.
I have that.
Like a summary of all of them. This was that movie.
I have a question about that later.
Okay.
And Andy, is it everything that you remember?
Yeah. You know, there was for me, like I feel like watching this movie, whether it was just kind of, you know, how old I was when it came out, and then movies going forward, but I felt like this was a turning point in cinema because it called out the movie industry on all its nonsense, like the guns that never ran out of bullets, the, you know, perfect tens everywhere in the, you know, the background acting and all that stuff, the everything over the top of the, you know, like the bomb goes off at the second cousin's house, and the two cops are dead, and it was 2 days away from retirement. You know, but also Jack Slater, just a couple scratches, you know, all the way down to the end of the movie where you know, this isn't even a flesh wound. This is you know, it's a waste of my time. This guy's perfectly fine. Come on, let's get out of here. You know, so felt like this was like a turning point in cinema where they started taking some things a little more seriously or realistic.
Yeah,
film.
I know what you mean by the cliches there. I do have those written down with a question later. But Joe, why was this the best movie you've seen since you've been in the movie group?
I originally saw this movie in the theaters when I was in like third grade. I might have been like 8 or something. What year did this movie come out?
Like 92, 93.
92. So I might have been 10, 11 years old.
1993, summer 1993.
So it was like 10 or 11. And watching, being like, okay, yeah, you know, like not understanding all the intricacies of this classic. Watching it, and I spent a lot of time this month watching this movie. I watched it quite a few times, and it really is solid. It's pretty funny, and it's funny in all the ways that, like, as you're watching like something like Commando or Rambo or fill in the blank of any of those, you know, crazy ass 80s movies, or even like early 90s action films, and all the things like when you're sitting there with your buddies drinking beer and it's on TV at like, you know, 9 o'clock on a Friday, and you start laughing your asses off, and it brings all that to the front, and it's. I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I did. I'm really excited to talk about some of the hilarious things in there. The one-liners, I mean, the unnecessary explosions, all that stuff, like cars flipping upside down for no reason.
I was about to say, I noticed that watching it last night. I was like,
why is that thing on fire?
Yeah.
Wasn't it on like a Family Guy where the horse and carriage went over the cliff and it exploded?
Yes. So I mean, I'm pretty pumped to go through this and talk about some of these just hilarious things that. Yeah, it's fantastic. It is.
I guess we can start with the beginning of the movie. I think it's like a Shane Black calling card. You open with a big scene to kind of set the tone of the heroes of the movie, and it's got some sort of a hostage situation. All you see is a lot of cars, police cars pulling up to the scene. The Alice in Chains riff.
All of
playing.
The LAPD was at that scene.
And
good Lord, it's so many cars.
Yeah, you've got the like LA can't spare that many cops at once. I don't care what's going on. Then you see the snakeskin boots come walking across the roofs of the cars. You have the yelling, cliche yelling police captain.
Angry black captain, yeah.
Always angry. And of course, the best cop on the force who skirts the rules, doesn't really break them, probably, bends them and sprains them quite a bit. He's always going against him, even though he's the best one on the force.
Yeah.
And this one involved Jack Slater's kids, And
were there any sorry to cut you off, were there any jurisdiction talk in this movie?
I don't know. I didn't
That's
hear
another trope where the FBI is like, and
Yeah.
right. You talking about another
department, or
it's the cliche of
The
for
feds come in
some
and take
reason
over.
the public has the police department has the pulse of the public, and the public is screaming for the feds to take over the case every time. And it's like, I had no idea that case was, I don't have an idea what cases are going on in my city, much less needing the feds to take over this missing kid case. I hear that lady that got murdered. What about the lady that got murdered at that mansion down there in Coronado, who supposedly killed herself and tied her hands and legs behind her back? We were screaming for the feds to get on that case. It turned into a Dateline, though. That's good enough.
Goodness. This guy is serious. Like, when the boots hit the tops of those cars. I mean, it's so over the top corny that it's
Like, why do you have to walk on the top?
I had that correct. Establish dominance over your enemies.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That was symbolism. They showed the ass kickers just walking across the car. And turns out the Ripper was on the roof of that building with his son. Big mistake. That was his line for this movie. Jack Slater. This is Jack Slater 4, maybe?
Well, that was the one that came out that we lived in. Yes.
So as we see this, he goes through. I guess this is the one where his son dies and affects him, right? He gets pulled over the side by the Ripper.
If we could rewind a little bit, I'm sorry. I'm just going to jump in there because I have this written down.
From the first scene. Go ahead.
We're talking maybe a minute before that, as Jack Slater is getting introduced, or his physical appearance on the wearing the big ass belt buckle, looking cool as hell. The lieutenant is in his face, barking at him, blah 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 blah, and then he asks a question to one of the snipers or something on the ground. He says,
The first one-liner, yeah.
Want to be a farmer? And then he kicks him in the testicles and says, there's a couple of acres. I lost it. I replayed that 5 times.
Oh,
Because it was so friggin' stupid. But man, I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever heard of in my life.
I've honestly looked for the Jack Slater boots and leather jacket and stuff for a Halloween costume. I need the snakeskin boots. I need the red shirt, the belt buckle, and then the brown leather jacket. That's
So the whole costume.
Then I've looked for the Jack Slater, we'll call it an action figure. I haven't found one that's reasonable yet. I would like to see it when I buy it, not get it off the internet, It'll turn into a rubber man type thing. But this also, we talk about the introduction of Jack Slater on the roof. It's one of Adam's favorite things whenever you see the hero suiting up, getting ready, and putting all the fucking weapons and shit on, the grenades hanging off of the vest, the different guns and knives. And in this scene, it's the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah.
He's lose the guns. He starts taking out all the guns, and he's like, come on, Jack.
Yeah.
I think that's it. How about the one?
I always love it when they do that in movies.
Right.
It's always a comical moment when they're unloading all their weapons. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot another gun.
There's nothing funny about that.
It's
It's fucking cool.
He's got a knife in his sleeve. It's so ridiculous.
Cool.
Like a Bugs,
say,
the old Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny pulling.
See,
Pulling out a big
comical.
salami or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing with a salami, Jack?
Hold this for me.
And this is
endless
where we
pocket
introduced
gag.
want to go to the movie theater where the gross kid is there. This latchkey kid has no supervision whatsoever. It's just stuffing his face with popcorn with his scabby hands. It kind of grossed me out. It makes my stomach turn every time I see it. His hands just covering his face. He's got all those scabs, and I'm just wondering what's the backstory on all those scabs on his fingers and stuff. And it was bothering me.
I didn't even notice this kid's grubby hands.
And I can just think of, like, popcorn movie butter getting in those open wounds. It can't be good. It was bothering me. And the movie goes out. He's watching Jack Slater.
Food coloring.
He goes up. The film goes out of focus, right? He goes up and he finds Nick, who's played by Robert Krosky, who in another movie we watched called Christine, he ran the garage.
Same guy.
Now in this movie, he's running a movie theater. And I just watched The Great Outdoors the other day. He was running the old lodges out there in the woods. He was being typecasted. He's just,
Well, he was kind of lovable in this one.
Yeah,
weird, but lovable.
The trope of the newspaper as a blanket kind of thing going on there as he crashed out in that chair. Also, I do want to say that axe that Jack the Ripper had, it's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
And then also it's kind of like I don't know if it was a John Woo thing or whatever, where they have the super dynamic shot of Arnold ducking the axe being thrown in like slow motion. It was kind of like you had had the diving side jump with the gunshots kind of deal.
Yeah, I kind of thought that the handle or something should have hit Arnold's arms, because his arms came up and that handle's kind of long. Something should have made contact there.
Right. Or just barely grazes like a shirt kind of thing. Yeah. Also, I think maybe if he wasn't using that hand cannon of a Desert Eagle, he might have, had a standard service revolver or 9mm, might not have knocked Ripper off the roof there and saved his kid.
I'm also into Desert Eagles being used in movies. I'm all about that.
What movies have you seen Desert Eagles in?
Tomb Raider.
Snatch. Or is it Lock, Stock?
Probably Lock, Stock.
Vinnie Jones carried one in one of those.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was like, I think only 2 police officers in
Matrix,
the history of
that I think Agent Smith uses a Desert Eagle.
Film were using magnums like that. It was Tackleberry, but he was using a revolver, so it's just really Jack Slater.
Let's keep all police academy talk out of this one.
Yeah.
till later.
Right.
Down the road. Until later at the end of this one.
Lots of cool looking handgun.
So this kid, were any of you latchkey kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't like this though. I mean, I had grandparents and shit that came over to the house after school or sometime,
No.
My mom wasn't home, but they would come over or I'd go to their house or something. We all lived like within 3 miles of each other.
Yeah.
But I thought it was odd that this kid, he's about to sneak out to go to the movies again. And some guy busts in there and handcuffs him to the toilet. And then he ends up at a police station. And his mom still can't get off from her very important Applebee's job to go get him from the police station.
Can we backtrack for a second?
Yeah.
And that criminal that attempted to rob him was disappointed in the stuff that was not in the apartment.
Yeah.
And like, if I were to rob and be expecting cool stuff, I would not go into that apartment building, number one. So
right.
He set himself up for failure on that one.
Yeah, not a smart criminal.
No.
Joe, we can't hear you.
You can't?
Yeah, go ahead now.
It was like the worst apartment complex I've ever seen. You're telling me that like as soon as he opens the door, there's a guy that's like just waiting in the hallway to rob whoever opens their door first?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what New York is like, but
it's exactly like
shitty.
I think it's like that.
I drive around Seattle all day, and it's like that in Seattle as well.
I do have
guy comes out with a knife and puts you against the toilet and that. No.
Yeah, I thought, oh, this is where his fingers get torn up, and I was like, no, he's got scabs already on his fingers. So this guy didn't do it to him. But I have a story about New York. You know, all these apartments. You look at all these movies where there's an apartment, it just seems like it's just like red brick for the insides of their walls and stuff like that. And it's usually like the toilet's next to your refrigerator type thing. But I knew a woman that I worked with in the Navy. She had gotten her master's degree from Columbia University. And she said she had this small little apartment in New York City, like all she could afford. And she said one night she woke up because her cat was laying on her head, like laying across it. And then she realized that she didn't have a cat. This was a rat. This was laying across her head.
Yeah.
That sounds like New York.
Everything you see in movies is true when it comes to New York.
Get out of here.
It's cleaner now.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. If you're watching,
I just couldn't
people's
imagine
criticisms of De Blasio. We would know.
living in that like apartment complex like this. I mean, I don't know. Like to me, just so out of this world that he's like, open the door and there's a guy there with a knife.
Well, no,
You
he
know?
opened the door. The guy was walking by, so then he closed the door, and then he waited, thinking the coast was clear.
Ah,
But it was
okay.
not. Yeah.
And then the guy was upset that he didn't have a VCR that he could pawn.
Yeah, and his TV was crappy, worth about $20.
$20. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have
it here.
There is no VCR. That's why he's sneaking out to go to the movies every night.
Right.
And this movie theater looks like one of those old ones that nobody goes to anymore. Is one they show porn at mainly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
trashed in there.
A lot of semen on film there, or just movie popcorn butter.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
Sabrina's about to put on her headphones.
Yeah.
The at the movie theater. So Robert
You guys
Prosky,
really need me? do you want
Robert,
me here?
the magic ticket that he received from the Indian shaman through Houdini to him. It was a portal to the movie world. And I was wondering, have you guys ever thought about anything like this? If you can go into another world, if there was a magic way, like say Back to the Future, they were trying to come up with, what do we put him into time travel? They were thinking about a refrigerator, things like that. And then somehow just came up with a DeLorean,
I test every wardrobe I see.
What?
Lion the Witch, the Wardrobe.
Did you write up in Narnia?
Yeah. Never know.
When I go for hikes, I'll look at a knoll on like a tree or something, or a hollowed out space, and I'm like, there's fairies in there. I think about like from Fern Gully. That's all I can imagine. Like there's a whole Fern Gully.
Oh yeah.
Inside.
You don't think there's elves in there making cookies?
Yeah.
No, I don't think about the cookies. I know they're fake, but that's okay.
Those elves.
But
Yeah, I don't
fairies
think
and evil smog trees and stuff, I could believe that.
Yeah, I've always thought the elves in the tree with the hot ovens going all day is probably not the best thing.
No,
They got to have
a
a better they got to have a good ventilation system or something.
They made no bake cookies. I don't know.
All right, so he's watching the movie. Next thing you know, the ticket starts to work, and we see the
Dynamite.
bundle of dynamite come through and start rolling down. And next thing you know, he ends up in Jack Slater's back seat. Like, I'm not the first person ever back there, although Jack's reputation. But
Also doesn't make sense because he puts out the dynamite with the popcorn and his scab blood.
yeah,
And then, but yet then it still explodes for seemingly no reason, since it is a movie.
you guys know Art Carney played Jack's favorite second cousin. And it is a Shane Black nod to where the explosion happened and the cop dies in the tree. It goes 2 days till retirement, and then they play the Lethal Weapon music. It's always funny.
Yep.
But my favorite part of the movie is when the kid ends up in the back seat, and that's when the henchmen arrive.
Right?
The red truck filled with henchmen coming to kill Jack Slater. And as you say, there's cars flipping over for no reason. The cliche car chases in Hollywood, cars are flipping, they're exploding.
Yeah.
This one, they're shooting at a cop car that is turned upside down and it just starts spinning on its top as Jack drives by.
Yeah.
And
I noticed, he was
it goes
driving
into
down
another. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh yeah, I noticed. Like I said, when I was watching it last night, when they're going down the alley or whatever, in the background, there's the car that just flips out in the background for no reason. I was like, what the hell is that thing coming from?
It's called action.
Well, yeah, that too. But it was just like I didn't notice that car flipping in the background until that time watching it, which is the 30th.
It's just
time.
for a split second, but you see it's like it just like shoots. I'm like, what the heck happened in there? And I'm like, you know what, man, that Jack Slater, he's something else.
Yeah. You're just like, yep, this is way. And another movie cliche in this scene is a hail of gunfire and thousands upon thousands of bullets are being shot in his direction and none hit him.
Yeah.
Never gets hit.
That car stays pristine.
And I want to say this about movie cliches, and maybe Sabrina has noticed this one about every 80s action movie she doesn't have to watch now, is that if a hero is running from gunfire, these people are so accurate to hit right behind each foot, but can't raise their barrel.
He's not getting shot.
Phalanx type correction and move their barrels up.
Henchmen of all kinds are notoriously bad shots under pressure.
We'll get to that.
Historically, horrible shots. Before we go any further, I do want to go back and say Jack Slater's second cousin, his favorite one, he has to avenge his second cousin's death.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty corny funny as well.
Right. Also, it's the fourth movie, so I mean, how many other relatives have died at this point in the first three that we don't know about?
Yeah, I'm going to say
all he has left.
I'll say this: if we make any more Taken movies, they're going to start taking second cousins.
Yeah. It took my maid.
Yeah, yeah. Arnold is real big about his maids too. He's very protective.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe.
Hey, no problem. See how I tie all that in?
Seamen on film. This is what you're getting.
Highbrow comedy all day. When the second cousin finally did die, and he's just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Just enough information to lead you on to the next part of the movie.
Yep.
I'm out of here. No crazy death at all. Just I'm out of here.
And another cliche is any kind of a countdown. We see it's at 3 seconds, 2, and he still has enough time to run 15 seconds before that final second causes the explosion. Still able to get away without a scratch. But with the henchmen and the car chase, we go back to Terminator 2, to where they just bust through the bridge into the Los Angeles River in the big diesel truck as they're chasing him and Edward Furlong on the motorcycle.
Right.
He does the same thing in this movie with his Pontiac Bonneville, which is about a 28-foot long car.
Yeah,
and somehow just lands on its wheels, and Dukes of Hazzard never destroys a charge or anything. Lands on its wheels and able to keep going, no leaks, nothing. Mm-hmm. Another movie cliche in all our action movies. But during the shootout, some of the henchmen got killed, and one of our main henchmen throughout movie history, Al Long, whenever he shoots the exploding ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
And Al Long gets it by taking an ice cream cone. It must have been a drumstick.
It was a drumstick shrapnel.
Yeah, right to the back of the head to die. We lose Al Long, our favorite movie henchman of all time, maybe. The reason why I came up with the top 5 henchmen list was that man right there. And it goes into the, what is this, maybe Paramount Pictures lot that they were in. I think me and Herschel went to that lot to go watch At Midnight because had a lot of pink buildings as well that we were walking through. I was going to ask him that. But what did you think about the car chase? I know you guys like the cars just exploding and bouncing around for no reason. But I was wondering what you thought of the henchmen and their deaths. You know, they get shot and they bounce and fly off of the side of the truck.
Right. It was all pretty standard. You know, everybody has to get immediately ejected and stuff like that out of the back, even though they jumped over everything else and all that kind of stuff. You know, but once you get in that game of chicken, then
Do you guys find these 90s and 80s action scenes like more pure because they're doing more, or what they're doing with less, where like nowadays with like special effects and computer graphics and everything, and trying to make it seem like uber realistic, like these 90s action scenes?
No, I prefer it. I prefer
way more
real
cooler
stuntmen doing stuff. And I heard Al Long did his own stunt by taking that ice cream to the back of the head. So, good for him.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
right?
I wonder how many takes they had to wash his hair every time.
I wonder what happened. Like what they had to
They just
use
had like
to
a
stick to the back
we
of
got
his head.
6 ice cream cones. We got 6 chances to make this.
Yeah.
The outtakes, they showed the guy next to him licking it. Like, oh, no.
And he sold it. He sold it well.
And then catering is like, where the fuck are our ice cream cones?
We had enough
Use
for
them.
everybody.
We had an idea. Yeah,
Spree, do you want to go?
Arnold liked it. I would say up to this point,
Do you want to go about this car chase thing?
I want you to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool car chase, and it was exactly like, all the 80s stuff you wanted. And I like it when my guns shoot, when I'm watching something and the guns shoot somebody so unrealistically that, and it happens in, there's a ton of movies, you could name off where the good guy shoots the bad guy and he flies off the porch or something, like he's just been like he's been tied to the bumper of a truck and just flies off. And every time Jack Slater shot somebody off of the side of that truck, they flew off the truck.
Yeah.
They flew off. So I like that quite a bit.
Sabrina, what do you think about the car chases? And now that you don't have to watch any more 80s movies to see any of the other chases, I am going to recommend the Cobra car chases to you. Maybe
I like
the
the
French
car
Connection.
chases. I like car chases. I think they're really fun. I think they make sense in a lot of movies.
She might have watched Cobra when I was the assistant watch commander in Gitmo.
Yeah.
That's Cobra.
It's a Sylvester Stallone movie. I bought that movie at the NEX in Cuba, and I forced the whole camp to watch Cobra in our downtime.
You talking about the terrorist?
No, the guard force.
Yeah, you don't want to reward terrorists. but-
I think I remember you being really excited about it, but I don't remember.
Nobody
that movie at
liked
all.
it.
I don't remember that at all. But I liked this car chase. It was really fun because your worlds are meeting all of a sudden, and I really enjoyed the fact that Slater was like, well, I guess this kid is here now and I have to deal with that, but just keep your head down.
Yeah.
Like, there was no shock that this was happening. There was just like, why are you here? God, what a nuisance. And I was like, wouldn't you be even slightly more concerned if there was a small child in the back of your car while this nonsense is happening? Don't you want to protect him at all? And he's like, no, just stay
Do
down.
me, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that this kid actually thinks he should be involved in any kind of way is also, I was like, you're dumb. Like, sit your ass down. You don't know where you are. Like, but otherwise, like, all the deaths were hilarious and the chase was really fun and completely ridiculous.
There's definitely a lot more chicken being played in 80s and 90s movies than there is anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a staple. Maybe Footloose started it with that whole tractor chicken thing. But with I like how Sabrina brings in like the caring element. Like
Yeah.
But he
"That
did
was crazy."
explain how he was driving with no hands and he was completely turned around and not hitting anything. And that Pontiac Bonneville must have had some really good alignment, for a car from the 60s.
Right.
Never seen one like that before.
That also jumped off of, the bridges and whatnot else.
Jumping off bridges, not leaking, not, tires aren't popping, nothing like that. I go off of a curb in my car and I lose a tire. That's a little bullshit, but I know how to suspend disbelief. And this is where the worlds, collided, and there was chicken. And like I said, in 80s movies, there was a lot more chicken, and that was the big pivotal scene in Footloose, to where people started gaining some respect for old Ren McCormick whenever he beat old Chuck Cranston on his daddy's farm in a game of tractor chicken with Bonnie Tyler playing on Chuck's boombox. You would think that if you're tough and you want to challenge somebody, you're not playing Bonnie Tyler. Which brings me to the choice of music that Arnold put in his car for this car chase, which sounded kind of like a rockabilly type. Maybe an Andy Mattis could play it for us. It was kind of a weird choice for a good car chase song.
Right. The scoring overall, like especially when they're in the movie, was like, it seemed like more over the top than like it was back in those days in the movies. But I was also kind of cool because, like, there was a lot more, I don't know, authentic music being created or whatever going on there, like the crazy bass line or whatever going when Benedict and stuff raids Slater's house, with the kid and his daughter and all that stuff was just like crazy, going on there with and then with the shootout and everything else, it was definitely picked up on that a lot more this time around.
All right, so after he accepted the fact there was just some little kid that popped up in the back of his car, he takes him back to a pretty much every Los Angeles police precinct. Beautiful, gorgeous. As you're walking in, you see a Sharon Stone cameo.
Shouldn't there be more police stations with valet parking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All Los Angeles.
You're from California, Adam. Have you ever been to a police station that has any of that valet parking or anything?
No.
Damn.
Okay, so in California they have.
They'd probably pass him the keys. He's a Mexican. They'd be like, "Oh, thanks."
Toss it.
Give him a $5 and call it good,
Right.
Oh, okay.
And you go in there, and this is where we find out where the police cliches start, with the yelling captain at his best. And of course, every cop has a divorce, just like every seaman. Every seaman has at least one divorce under their belt. If you've been married in the military
Long enough. Yeah.
you've got one divorce. Right now, it's just me.
I got married after, so
Yeah.
that should be good.
Yeah. Remember, marriage, number one cause of divorce in this country, guys. Be careful. So,
Heard that.
Be careful, Adam.
as the kid's trying to explain to them that they're all part of this fake world in this movie, explaining all the gorgeous women, here comes the pairing of partners, where the rabbi gets put with old Johnson or whoever, and then Whiskers comes in, which is one that Herschel hated. Herschel said he could do without Whiskers in the movie, but they had to get Danny DeVito in there somehow. So we get another cameo with DeVito's voice, and he's like, he's the best cop on the force.
I thought that the way that they were like, like, Johnson, you're with the rabbi, and they were just, it was like they were doing buddy cop films.
Yeah.
Like that's what they were. They were just like putting like two unlikely characters that, and every single one of the when they went up there, like, you better not get in my shit today, or whatever the gal yelled at the other gal or something. It was like the first pairing. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember
continually hot like the overweight cop, I think.
Yeah. And it's just like unlikely animal duos become best friends in the zoo. Yeah, I thought it was really funny that they were casting those as the movie was playing.
Well, obviously, all cop movies are based out of this one LA station. So
Every
it makes
single
sense
one of
that
them.
it would be, yeah, like
It
clearly.
was big enough.
Yeah, right. It's huge.
They had like fountains in there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this was Herschel said he could do without whiskers, but I might, that's blasphemous. I think
I'd
you
work
gotta
there,
have-
but I'm probably not.
Who
hot
was
enough.
going to save Danny and Arnold, at the funeral?
You are.
Oh, hey.
You know?
What a guy.
I guess we'll
Oh.
stay married for at least another year.
All right.
Did you guys sign a 3 or 4 year deal?
It's like standard enlistment.
Yeah.
4 years standard.
Okay.
We gotta at least get through this house.
When
Too
you're-
inactive.
Yeah.
Your options at the end.
Can always come back and put you on active duty of marriage, after.
But after
Oh,
8
jeez.
years minimum, so it's 4 years marriage, 4 years in active duty, and then then he can make a real decision.
All right. So where are we at with this movie? The Danny with the stupid every 80s kid, 90s kid hairdo that they try to put. And I hate it. It's just like, hey, let's just make some spaghetti and dump it over somebody's head, and that'll be the hair. That's basically what they're doing. I hate it.
That kid
I
looked
watched it.
terrible.
I watched it last night, and I was
I
like,
think all
this-
kids look terrible.
That's true.
Adam's an asshole. Whenever we're watching movies, he sees children or teenagers. He's like, "Oh, these kids are all ugly."
Stranger Things.
And I'm like,
Oh, Stranger
They're
Things.
kids.
Could not watch that because the
because
kids
the
look
kids
terrible.
are ugly to him. And I'm like, what?
It was the 80s and they were like mid to lower class. So, they only got so much to go with.
There's so much awkwardness when you're a kid, and the
Yeah.
80s were weird.
That kid did have. I when I was watching that, I was like, oh god, kid, this damn kid's haircut. I did
I haven't
not
heard from
like
him
it.
since.
His mom cut his hair with a bowl. Obviously, they're poor.
Well, she didn't have time. She was never home. She was always.
Well,
at
he
Applebee's.
did it himself then, and that's even sadder and more reason for
Oh,
Do you want me
Maybe
to
the
put
guy-
a tragic spin on this entire film?
no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Now,
His mom was pretty good looking, for.
Yeah.
I don't know what she
Uh,
was.
Phil
That's
Arnold was
Mercedes
fine.
Rule.
Yeah.
She's a very famous actress.
I don't
She was
know
Tom
her.
Hanks's mom in Big.
Hmm.
She was in Lost in Yonkers.
Yeah.
She always plays the anytime you need a good New York mom, they always get Mercedes Rule. You need a good New York aunt, you got the sassy mouth, straight, good comedic delivery. They usually get Mercedes Rule. So she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she is.
I was speaking of quintessential people in a movie. What did you guys think of when we were introduced to Mr. Benedict?
Oh, what,
First,
from
he
the-
shoots
from
right
the
past
terrace?
the favorite
Yeah.
second cousin's head.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That
I
looking
mean,
It's easy as
Benedict.
cake.
easiest cake. He
Which
hated it.
always makes me mad because cake is difficult. All right.
That's what he said.
Doesn't
Hi,
make
you
sense.
idiot.
what do you call this?
That was the other thing that stuck out, which is later in the movie, but like for some reason, the other thing aside from all the like calling out movies on their bullshit, like the when Vivaldi's in the pool and it's like, turn around and do a 360 on me. It's like, no, you fucking idiot. In a 360, be right back where I am. It's a 180. For some reason, that line like stood out years and
skipped
years.
ahead.
Yeah, but just Benedict and Vivaldi's dynamic. I have to say it.
They called him a spaghetti slurping idiot or something. I thought that was so funny too. Like I don't. But anyway,
I thought Charles Dance did a good. He played a great role, and I don't know if he's his fake eye or whatever. But Alan Rickman was supposed to play this role,
Yeah,
but he had turned it down.
Oh.
that's what I
that
thought
would be
of.
good.
And I guess he had turned it down, but I think, whenever they finally get to the bad guy's house just by driving down the street and pointing,
Yeah.
I thought that introduction to him, him and Jack Slater was pretty good. And now I use the term arterial red at work all the time.
Nice.
Anytime we're talking about colors or whatever, because we have red lasers in our machines. and I always say arterial red,
And
and people
are just
start
like,
thinking
"Sure."
about it. I was there is a question I want to ask you guys. Is Jack the most common cop name for movies? Is the best cop on the force always named Jack?
I think so.
Jack
Oh,
Bauer.
Yeah.
It's
don't know.
Jack.
Look at
Even with like
Wahlberg's collection of cop roles.
Keenan Ivory Wayans played Jack in one of his cop movies, and then Damon Wayans played a cop named Jack in Bulletproof with Adam Sandler. But I think Jack, if you're the best cop on the force, your name has to be Jack. And this takes me back to after my first sea duty. I did 5 years in Mayport, and us as fire controlmen, we don't get shore duty. So I had to go do physical security, and I had to go be a cop for 3 years. When I report to my duty station in Northwest Florida, they assign you your number, I guess, your code number that you talk to dispatch with, how you're identified. So I get there and I meet this cop, ex-military. He's a civilian, he's DOD, and he's like 60 years old. He's got this like poofy brown hair at the top's combed straight back, and he's got these cool guy sunglasses, and he introduces himself, and his name is Jack Eagle. And I said, what? And I said, what? I said, that's what I wanted my call sign to be. I was going to be Jack Eagle. Turned out it was this guy's real name. And our call signs were numbers, so I didn't get to pick a name. I didn't get to be like Viper 12 or anything like that.
Yeah.
I had to be like number 221 or something.
The
Yeah.
first movie character Jack I thought of was Jack Sparrow. He's not a cop at all.
He's like a cop of the sea.
Yeah.
I mean, a crooked cop of the sea.
Yeah.
Pirate. I mean, I don't know if that's a cop of the sea.
That's just something. Is there another name you could give to a cop whenever you're the best cop on the force? What is another name you could give to that cop?
I would love
Jack
to find like a
Reacher.
Chad. Like a Chad would be real great.
Chads
Yeah,
are
maybe it,
snowboard instructors.
But I think like Chad
Yeah.
as a cop would be just like a balancing out.
I don't know. Would he have a pop collar?
I don't know.
He
I'd
takes on all date rape cases.
Yeah.
When
Chad, you got this one.
Oh, where'd it go?
You're in a fraternity. You
did you go undercover?
know the MO.
When that to go back to the LA police station scene when you first kind of, well, I guess you're really first introduced, but you're getting more acquainted with the lieutenant, Jack's boss. What's his name? Lieutenant Decker.
Yeah, Decker. Yeah.
Lieutenant Decker, and he's going crazy, and then the little kid, I can't think, what's the little kid's name again?
Danny.
Danny. Yeah.
Danny. Danny's, like, oh, this is such a U2 thing, blah, blah, blah. And he has to explain what he knows about Lieutenant and Jack Slater. He tells the story of the lieutenant's wife running off with a circus midget.
Yeah.
But Slater told everyone Slater told everyone he drove the lieutenant's wife up to New England and dropped her off at that diphtheria clinic.
Yeah.
Diphtheria?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
That's the Oregon Trail.
And it was a hilarious story. And then they're like, I thought you weren't going to tell anybody that. And Jack's like, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I kind of want to hear his impersonations further now.
Well, I don't want to do
Can you repeat the whole conversation for us?
No, I'm not gonna. I don't like to do either of those very much. But I was cracking up. He's right up in his face about it, and then Arnold gets his shit in. But the diphtheria clinic up in New England, he had to take her. So he saved the lieutenant from public humiliation because his wife would have run off with a circus midget. So I thought that was pretty funny story and interaction. That's all I have off of the police station. Two things.
It was
The
the
buddy
basis
cops in
for
that.
it was the basis for Me, Myself, and Irene, so it has been done in a movie. But going back to Sabrina, of talking about how Arnold just accepted this little kid was in the backseat of his car at the police station. The Lieutenant Decker said, well, since he seems to know so much about us, I think I got your new partner. And everybody's
Yeah.
just so accepting of making a little kid his partner now.
And Danny
That
calls
was-
him out on
I
it.
was like, wait, what just happened? How is that a good idea? You have this, shouldn't you be trying to find his parents? Like, if you're a police chief of any kind of sort, like what you have a missing child right now. You have a missing persons case to solve. But no, go solve this other bizarre.
Danny says, why didn't they call a social worker? You know, he brings it up. He's like, do you not find this to be weird that they're letting a kid?
Yeah, it's
It's a
These are the
movie,
things,
you know, and like the constant him
Think it
constantly
happened.
trying to explain to Jack Slater why the world that he's living in is so ridiculous. Like, you know, the buildings changed like that. Like it was a scene change.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, and you know, and then breaking it down, you know, the whole knowing about everybody's life. And Arnold just still not believing it, you know, like you're a kid and you're a partner. It happens. We got a cartoon cat over here.
so
So
this
he's the best
leads
damn
me-
cop on the force.
Right.
So this will lead us to the next part, and to where he's trying to prove to Arnold he's an actor. Takes him to a Blockbuster Video where super hot Angie Everhart's working, I think,
Yeah.
and he takes him over to the Terminator sign, and it's none other than our favorite actor, Sylvester Stallone.
You guessed it. Sly Stallone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he starts talking about all the numbers are 555, and he's like, "Well, that's what area codes are for."
Yeah.
The one of the reasons I picked this movie, because it seemed like Arnold is making fun of himself and his movies that he's made his whole career and other guys have
Yeah.
made, and they're all in on the joke, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think critics took it that way.
Said I'll be back. Did you expect me to say
You
this?
know?
Yeah, you always say that. You know.
I will be hitting back on this topic later, towards the end of this thing as a wrap up, because I have a pretty good take on this whole thing. But I mean, yeah, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Arnold Schwarzenegger as an over the top Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's really funny when you like sit down and like think about, you know, and he's in on the joke the whole movie. And I feel that like if you just watch this movie casually one time, you wouldn't understand. You know, you'd be like, well, this is fucking stupid. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I just think that like other people are just like maybe not as on top of things as I would be on this, but I just feel that like, yeah, if you're just flipping through the channels and you pop this movie on, you'd be like, what the fuck is going? Like, this is ridiculous, you know. But Arnold's in on the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's in on the joke, right? And so, I mean, yeah, it should be more appreciated than it currently is right now in cinema history.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah. Herschel told me it's not one of his favorites, and it's too long. I agree. There's some scenes that could have been cleaned up to make it, 15 minutes shorter at least. But like I said, I find it entertaining. The caricatures of the characters is what I find funny.
Yeah.
The bumbling mob boss Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins, and going back to the movie cliches of the hero always be able to accomplish, like, oh, he's going to jump off of the building. He dumps the dead mobster off the side, gets caught by the crane hook.
Yeah.
He's able to fall out of the elevator
The
and
farting
catch
one.
onto a leg without anybody's shoulders coming out of place and skin ripping off of your hands. They're able to,
Right.
and they fell into the La Brea tar pits, which somehow are in Long Beach, California now.
Yeah. Well,
Are
also,
they
how
open?
great was him jumping when he goes in pursuit after they raided his apartment, or not apartment, but his house. It does the good to catch the red eye, and then he gymnastics display off the balcony. And
Original
everything else-
parkour.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah,
It was
especially for Arnold too, like
Crazy.
uncharacteristic, like you know.
Now I'm not as well traveled on the West Coast as maybe some other people in this room are, but what is the La Brea Tar Pits really like?
It's
I
right
don't,
in the
I don't even
middle
know
of,
where it is.
It's in the middle of like Los Angeles,
It's
basically,
super
kind
small.
of southwest
Well, that was super
Hollywood
small.
area, maybe. It's
Is
on
it
La
just
Brea
is
Avenue.
it just really like a pit
There's
of
a tar pit. There's a big tar pit there.
Yeah.
And what goes on in there?
And you got a big museum. Well, every
Dinosaurs
so
preserved.
often,
Yeah.
more bones come up
Yeah.
out of this tar pit from animals that died there, millions of years ago. So they keep getting new bones in those tar pits there. But it's like right off the main road, right off La Brea Avenue. Do you remember, you ever watch movies to where they go to the Museum of Arts, I think it is, and there's like a whole bunch of lamp posts out front. They always have like a romantic part, and there's like a whole bunch of like old style looking lamp posts. There's like 100 of them.
Yeah.
The La Brea tar pits are right next to that museum. And
The Post Museum.
yeah, so then the tar pit museum, you go inside and you read all about what goes on out there in the tar pit. And these tar pits were just, I think, made for the movie.
Enjoy a lamppost
but
museum.
it brings up another funny part of the movie, to where he comes out of the tar and he just wipes himself off with a napkin.
Just like one.
And his daughter shows up with a fresh pair of clothes or whatever.
Fresh pair of clothes, yeah.
Driving a fucking monster
Sweet ass
truck.
truck. Right?
We kind of glossed over my favorite part of the movie. My absolute favorite part of this whole movie is this rooftop scene.
Great funeral.
First off, it's the funeral is for, what is he, a mob boss named Lafart?
Yeah.
So
known for passing gas.
Yep.
known for passing gas. This Italian guy named Lafart, they've cut his stomach open and put bombs and stuff inside of him, or I'm sorry, nerve gas inside of him. And their plan is to release this nerve gas. When I say their plan, Benedict and what's this Italian? Vivaldi.
Yeah.
That way Vivaldi can take over all of the crime families in Los Angeles.
Solid plan.
Right.
Solid plan. Great
They're
plan.
all together. Yeah.
And plus Vivaldi makes an appearance up there like, hey, I'm not going to kill anybody. And then he walks away. And so he's made an appearance. So he's already kind of like off the hook. And then Benedict decides that is told to arm the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. Arm the bomb. Right on. He walks up and what does he do to arm the bomb? Pulls Lafart's finger. And that sets the 5-minute timer, whatever the timer was on this damn thing.
Yeah. 20 minutes.
Enter Arnold and Danny. They had some stuff downstairs in the back room or something. There's a bit of a scene, but anyway, so they're on the roof. And Danny's told to drive the crane. So Arnold shows up on the roof. Danny's driving a crane around, a crane that they probably pay a grown man $95 an hour to drive around. And Danny gets in there and he's whipping this thing around like he's fucking gonna put up the skyscraper.
Yeah.
Fred Flintstone.
yeah, like Fred Flintstone.
Would have been funnier. Would have been funnier if at some point Danny would have yelled, "I have to take my union mandated break," like they used to always do. Like they used to always do to us in Yorktown.
So Arnold has to create a distraction to get this nerve gas bomb off of the rooftop, or going to be women, children, old women, everybody's going to be dying. Nerve gas, for shit's sake. So he leans his head down and he says, "Help me. Get me out of here." And then he does this man is not dead. And he picks up this dead body and he's walking it all over and everybody in that place has guns.
Yeah.
Because they're Italian mafia members.
Everybody pulls guns.
Everybody's got guns on him. And he's running with his dead body.
I don't want to get political, but it must have been a gun-free zone.
Must have been. But it was, it's an Italian funeral. So
Everybody had guns, even the grandpa.
yeah, everybody was pulling out guns. And Jack Slater obviously survives because nobody can shoot Jack Slater.
Yeah.
But that scene was so hilarious when he does his impersonation of a guy that's dead, and then when he's does anyone hear a doctor? And that guy shows up. I'm a doctor. Check his chin. Bam.
Not expecting that. Yeah.
I that was my scene in this whole movie that I thought was he does do the hanging off the helicopter or the elevator and shoots endless rounds and helicopter guns him down, but he misses him because he lays low. Then Danny swings a fucking crane in there. Oh man.
Yeah. Plus, there's
he was real good with that crane.
Yeah. Some good irony in that scene too.
Real good with that crane.
You got to go to 2 years of school, don't you? Drive a crane. I'm assuming it's a trade, so I mean, you probably just go to a trade school.
No, you don't need 2 years of school to drive a crane. It's like a heavy equipment license.
The gunner's mates did it.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard.
Right.
I was
Careful with those missiles.
I was training to operate a crane when I was working on the airfield.
Man, that'd be cool. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
So the
brakes.
So the house scene when they went to his house and he had the fake money.
Oh yeah.
He said he keeps it around for his ex-wife and it gives off a different color smoke.
Yeah.
This is not where I ended up having my first crush on Bridget Wilson. Before I think I saw her in something before.
Happy Gilmore. Right.
Yeah, I've seen her in Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Yeah.
I saw her in something before those movies.
Sonya Blade.
Mortal Kombat.
And I saw her.
That was later. Yeah.
Well, Last Action Hero was her first movie.
They even said it in the movie that it's her first movie.
Like big mistake, and she ended up kicking their ass. What was the kid's name that she was supposed to kiss? The freshman?
Skeezer?
Easy or something like that.
I thought she was in college though, so I was really confused because that kid was like freshman, like high school freshman. So I was really confused what was going on. I was like, why is this even necessary now? I'm just weirded out.
Either way, I wanted to play the part of Skeezy.
Of course you did. Yeah. Of course.
But yeah, it's another one of those cliches, the house blows up and they're just sitting there with their hair all up, and they got the cartoon marks on their face.
Right.
They didn't die. But I also like the fact that the reason they blew up is because he left his eye behind.
Yeah.
And I always thought the interchangeable eyes was a cool little addition to this movie.
Yeah, definitely was a nice.
His first eye was cool.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Was that was that the Target?
The Target.
The bullseye one, yeah.
That confused me because I didn't realize that because he has a real eye underneath his fake eyes that he pushes. He just pushes his real eyeball backwards. Or because I thought at first it was just like a weird contact. I was confused about the actual medical workings of this, I guess.
Just a fake eyeball you pop in there. Got an empty eye socket.
But he's got a real eye.
The other one's real, yes.
In real life, he has two eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the movie, not so much.
But in the movie, I swear I saw him take it out and they showed his face and he had a whole eyeball there.
I don't know, maybe a continuity flaw.
Okay, maybe that's all I just saw was a continuity flaw. And I noticed
you got to get on IMDb and write that in there.
Because I was like, how is he doing what? I just caught something weird then because nobody else seemed to be tripped on that.
I actually wrote in my notes, how cool are glass eyes? I mean, okay. I actually have a friend that the back end of a bolt shot through his eye, and And for a long time, he just like wore like a patch and stuff because he didn't want to get a glass eye. And I believe now he has gone and done that because they make him look just like your other eye.
Yeah.
Like it's almost, I mean, it's not like it was, back in the day. I guess we just put like a ping pong ball or something in there with a Sharpie drawn on it. So, I mean, if I had to get a glass eye,
I would.
what would I get?
Get multiple.
Yeah. He's
And
gonna have
dude, I don't
different-
know. I'm thinking maybe the Captain America shield.
No, the Terminator glowing red eyeball.
The Punisher. They
That'd
have
be a cool one.
they got prosthetic testicles too for like people who want to balance out their sack and all that stuff.
How did we
But-
get on that again?
I have no idea.
We're talking
I
about pairs
thought
of organs.
that was.
Okay, if you lose one of the organs, can you get a glass eye? They got prosthesis for everything.
Yeah, prosthetics are amazing now.
And I also enjoyed the every time. As cool as the glass eye was, you also the way you got to know which glass eye he was wearing is because he would always have a super cool one-liner, and then followed by "bing," where he'd just lower the glasses down and flash you whatever eye he had in. And man, those are some cool ass. The yellow smiley face, I liked that quite a bit. The target was awesome. Yeah, one was a bomb. I mean,
Yeah.
he just twisted it together to form the. What did it say? Like,
Vengeance is mine.
vengeance is mine, and when it clicked together to read the sentence, it blew up. I thought, the glass eyes. If I had to, I don't want to have a glass eye, but if I do, like, as long as there's glass eyes that are cool like that,
not a loss. Yeah.
I
Not a
don't
total
even
loss.
I don't even
Sounds
want
like you want
dentures. This is
something like if you just wear an eye patch every once in a while, and people are like, oh shit, like kind of like a piratey thing going on. There was an episode of Seinfeld
Makes
about
you a
that.
man of mystery.
What is he, a spy? What's going on here?
Conversation topic.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
Just don't do that until you're ready to be married, Joe.
Well, after that, it's like maybe like a 5 or 6 year thing.
Yeah.
At that anniversary, you can be like, okay, here's what I've been wanting to do for like 2 years. I want to wear a cape and put an eye patch on.
It's the way to reel us in because we love a man of mystery. you can get more chicks if you just
if you do that.
wear an eye patch. We'll be like, what's the story behind that guy?
It's like, it's just an eye.
Don't tell him.
Oh.
and you'll have to start dressing. You'll have to start wearing like suits with turtlenecks underneath and shit from then on, and maybe just one like leather glove on one hand. You gotta do all this. It's a lot of accessorizing when you have an eye patch.
Just really,
Of mice and men.
International Man of Mystery thing down.
All right, so your favorite scene was the rooftop, which led into the premonition, I guess, or the foreshadowing that Danny said, you can't trust him, he killed Mozart.
Right, yeah.
Where F. Murray Abraham turns on Jack Slater. And this is where Charles Dance comes into possession of the magic ticket and figures it out. And how they end up in New York.
Yeah.
The seedy underbelly before Giuliani cleaned it up, right? This was pre.
Yeah, this is pre
They still had all
the 94 crime bill.
Yeah, this had the porn theaters all in the downtown area that they didn't like. They wanted to make it where it was family friendly, and that's what they.
Oh yeah, I remember the big push for that back in like the mid '90s, late '90s.
Yeah.
And this is where they start figuring out real world versus Jack Slater's world, and he takes a shot at a New York cab. What happens? Only holes go in the trunk,
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
When he shoots the gun in real life and nothing happens.
Yeah. I just shot someone.
Yeah.
So everybody can shut up.
You see people walking down the street in the background as he's shooting his gun and killing people. They're just walking back and forth.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure it out. And again, another game of chicken occurs.
Yep.
This time they hit each other, and the old Mercury Sable airbag actually saved him. And he knew that, though.
Yeah.
Standard airbag, 89 Mercury Sable. I don't know if any one of you have driven a beast of a machine. like that, but I had a lot of friends that had shit like that in Georgia. Mercury Sable, what was the Ford counterpart?
Taurus.
The Tempo?
Yes. No, the Taurus and the Sable were the cars.
The Taurus.
Yeah, I had a couple Tauruses in my day.
A couple.
Taurus man. You were a Taurus man. I'll never
Yeah.
forget.
Yep.
Yeah, and they in the New York scenes is when they figure out Charles Dance, Mr. Benedict, is going to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I guess kills Jack Slater in their
theory,
minds.
Yeah.
You know, in theory. So he's going to go to this movie premiere, and they got to find the theater and everything. What did you think about how they intertwined all of that? So Adam, like say they intertwined it to where Schwarzenegger is given the red carpet interviews. They got the real actors out there, but he's having, and then the movie characters also show up. This is a big, I think this is the part where movie critics just call bullshit on the whole thing and they hate it's such a dumb idea. But it's one of those things to where it's like, I'm glad they did something different. You know, Schwarzenegger playing himself, or like you guys say, a caricature of himself. And he's in on the joke, and movie critics just didn't criticize it that way. They didn't look at it that way. What did you think?
Well, critics were being criticized.
Yeah, I don't get it, because like the whole movie was leading up to this point where the movie Arnold was gonna be brought into the real world, and
The Arnold.
you almost had no choice to meet the real Arnold. But the one thing I can draw a little bit of criticism is when the real life Arnold Schwarzenegger he made himself to be an actual hero by tackling the fake or the movie. Like, would real Arnold Schwarzenegger do that in real life?
Yeah.
So that's where I draw my criticism from.
I thought about that. I thought that exact thing. I was like, I wonder if in real life, if a guy pulled out a gun at a theater that Arnold's having a premiere in, if he'd tackle him.
No. We could talk about maybe he stands up with his Austrian accent and says something and somebody realizes, oh, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they probably realize what they're doing is not smart, and he can talk them out of it maybe. I don't see him becoming a hero.
I feel like if you're walking into a theater full of people with a gun, you're not getting talked down very easily.
Yeah, it's
Maybe you're not Arnold.
So Sabrina, did you enjoy this part of the movie where real life and fantasy met? And then
Yeah, this is actually my favorite part. Wait, did you have an end then?
go ahead.
I really enjoyed seeing how they were going to try to splice the worlds together, and seeing Slater respond to figuring out that he's a character and all that kind of stuff, and trying to I like that problem, because that's a real problem, and you can really sink your teeth into it because there's so many different layers. But the movie never left its it got into those dark tones for a moment, but it never really left the idea that, yes, we're making a caricature of this thing. And I really like that Arnold himself knew exactly what he was doing, and everything was done so intentionally that I enjoyed watching it for sure, because people did respond like that. Everybody's like, oh, what a great body double. And he was just asking questions that I would expect to actually happen in real life.
Andy,
Pretty
what
cool.
do you think?
It was good. I just kind of like the when they tried to have that dialogue, and it's like, I hate everything about you. All I feel is pain. It's just kind of yeah, I'm done with you, bro. Get out my face. The agent not realizing that when Jack the Ripper shows up, that's not his client Tom Noonan, who shows up 5 minutes later. It's like, what's going on? That was funny.
Actual Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
But
His name is just Ripper. Is it Jack the Ripper?
It's just Ripper.
I thought it was just Ripper.
I always think it's
okay.
Jack the Ripper just because.
No, I
It's only
get
one
it.
Jack. Can only be one Jack in the movie.
that agent, he responded like a top Hollywood cliche agent would be responding, like, what are you doing, man? Let's get you
Yeah.
fixed up and let's figure
Yeah.
it out.
Not listening to a word you're saying.
Yeah,
Right,
and
yeah.
yeah.
The Ripper was played by Tom Noonan, who also played Frankenstein in the Monster Squad, another Shane Black movie.
Yeah.
So, Tom Noonan's been in a lot of stuff as well. Yeah, but they both show
Creepy
up.
looking dude. Creepy
Heat?
looking dude.
I think he was in Heat.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
So, Joe, what did you think about the melding of reality and fantasy?
I say that they should have given Arnold Schwarzenegger an Oscar that year. I mean, he's playing so many different versions of himself in this movie, and then he's also got to meet those versions and act his way around that. I mean, I'll tell you, I was blown away.
Like you're talking about like Eddie Murphy and Meet the Clumps or something. No?
Oh, we see in the Clumps, he was playing completely different characters. In this, he's playing
This is Arnold versus
Schwarzenegger
Arnold.
playing. I mean, this is Arnold. This is, dare I say, Arnoldception. Like, it's absolutely crazy, and everyone's just like,
This was the multiverse before Marvel did it.
Right.
this is this, and see. This is where we get the two worlds combined. Now we get the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Last Action Hero Cinematic, the Jack Slater universe, and we can finally get them together. And a lot of questions will be answered.
Yeah.
Sabrina, you have?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
had
Jeff.
written in my notes since he said Inception that this movie was kind of like The Matrix, but also kind of like Inception, but also, are the characters only real because we believe in them? Because that makes him like Santa Claus? Like, there were just so many different... I was
Santa
trying
Claus
to...
is real.
Yes, exactly. He's as real as you believe in them. And I was like making all these...
No red track
Parallels.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Either way, I think we can all agree that it's very meta.
I mean, yeah, you got to believe. I even think at the end, didn't Danny say like, "I believe in you, Jack,"
Well,
or
I
something
was
like that?
is this magic or is this a program? Like, which way are we
It's
thinking about this?
Movie magic.
Because if it's magic, then it's Santa Claus. But if it's program, then it's Matrix.
Well, we finally get to the part where Jack Slater starts to realize and starts to become real. And he's going against Benedict and uses the movie cliche. He just violated the movie rule. He used too many bullets. Where he counters and says, "I just didn't put one in that chamber."
Yeah.
And shoots Arnold in the chest, or Jack in the chest.
Right.
In the real world, to where he'll die. Because that looked like it exploded the heart, but somehow it didn't hit his heart.
Probably
All
just
that
missed
massive
it.
muscle that
What's
Jack
that hand
possesses.
cannon he pulled out and shot him with?
Yeah, that long nose Magnum, like it was fucking Eastwood or something. That Magnum
The Joker
Force.
gun.
Yeah, I mean, it was, so I mean, he just plugged him from what, 4 feet away?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Did any of you think Jack Slater was going to die, and then the Jack Slater franchise would be over? Because then the movie ticket was lost, and it ended up. Once the movie ticket was not in possession, it pretty much opened the portal to every movie to enter into reality. So you had a real life Grim Reaper walking around the streets.
Yeah,
Played by
Sir
Ian McKellen. Yeah.
Yes.
Ian McKellen.
Crazy.
Sir Ian
Is it-
McKellen.
Is it that
Not
nuts?
then, but yeah.
No, he was Sir Ian McKellen.
Not back then. I thought he got knighted more recently.
I thought I read it in the credits.
Um,
I'm not sure.
So Adam, what did you think about Ian McKellen playing this small part? He's a big time actor, known for, like say Alec Guinness played Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they're more known for being great stage actors and done other, 100 other
Yeah,
movies.
he's like a legit like thespian theater actor who like was approached by somebody to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger flick, and like I think it's dope that he did it. I don't know why he did it. I would like to know why he did it. And then his portrayal of death was was
Pretty awesome.
fucking creepy. In that short amount of time he played Death was fucking creepy, and he's a testament to his acting prowess.
Well, I'm glad you used the word thespian, which is going to take me back to Danny daydreaming in school about Hamlet.
Right, I was
Oh,
wondering when that was coming
yeah.
back.
Can I give you a little fact?
Yes,
check?
Sabrina, go ahead.
Ian was knighted in 1979 for the
Oh, really?
first time.
For the first time.
First time.
Why would you get knighted? Was he at like Lancelot level now?
Yeah, you can do different ones. Like he got one for like performing arts and whatever nonsense, cultural being, and then he got another one for services to the country or something or other. And I don't know, but yeah, 1979. So he was Sir Ian McKellen in this.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, back to you.
Nice.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Did any of you guys notice anything about Ian McKellen playing Death? That was your favorite part?
Yeah.
What did you notice, Joe?
I think he touched like is it a cop or a guy eating a hot dog? No, somebody had a hot dog in their
Yeah,
hand.
It was a cop eating
and-
a hot dog, and he just walks by and touches him, and as he starts walking, the guy starts choking.
Guy starts like choking to death. Like I thought I was like, holy shit, dude! Like this guy's
So that's pretty
Legit
funny.
death. Yeah. Not the cool kind from Bill and Ted, but legit death.
What I thought was weird about that was that his death powers were movie magic. So like, does that mean that all of their like any magical creature can just transfer their magic into the real world? Because I didn't expect him to like. That caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it to just like, okay, everything transfers.
Like you could bring in Iron Man into the real world, and he has all
Yeah.
the Iron Man powers.
That's what I
I guess
wonder.
the
Could he
cartoon
fly around?
cat showed up too for a second, right?
He did. He actually shot
Too much
Practice in the
happened.
back, the guy that killed Mozart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Amadeus Mozart.
that's why you need whiskers. That's why I don't agree with Herschel saying I could do without whiskers. I was like, well, Jack Slater and
That's
And
a
Danny
weird take.
hated
That's a weird take for as ridiculous as this movie is. Herschel didn't like whiskers. All right.
yeah.
I wasn't a monster fan of it.
I thought it was MC Scat Cat. I thought Paula Abdul was going to.
Paula Abdul was going to show up.
I know it was whiskers. Was it the same person who played MC Scat Cat? I don't know. It's like
Who did
Danny
the mocap?
DeVito's
Yeah.
now MC
That cat
Scat
was
Cat.
awesome, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but I
death
would have
goes
to
up.
say, if we're going back to the Hamlet thing, I don't know, Hamlet with a gun would be fun. You know. The
I did
speed
like
of
the
that.
black and white versus the color that came into it.
Yeah.
He
Plus,
lit his cigar and everything.
Yeah, we also know that Arnold's a legit actor because they always say like, the real actors, take on the challenging stuff like Shakespeare. So Schwarzenegger is kind of an elite.
Yeah, that's when the teacher said that Hamlet was the first action hero.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the first action here, I thought that was kind of funny that you had mentioned that. Well, he had some funny one-liners in there. I didn't write them down. I wish I would have now. But he
The movie was one-liners. How could you possibly
To be
write
or
them
not to
down?
be, was that the
he had. I mean, I don't remember what as he was like killing people
yeah.
as Hamlet.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said, but because they weren't as funny as the ones that I wrote down. That's why they didn't tickle me the way that Acres tickled me.
There's a couple acres. It's kind of like the old Will Ferrell joke, Went golfing the other day. I hit two beautiful balls, stepped on a rake.
Stupid.
So this is the end of the movie. End of the movie, he prevails. They get the possession of the ticket back, and they're able to enter him back into his world. Say goodbye, which was eerily similar to Patrick Swayze going back in Ghost. Talking to Molly.
Yeah.
Demi Moore. So he's walking back in
Yeah.
to heaven. I wanted to ask, since this is a movie, everything was built around this kid loving to go to the theater, and he ends up in the movies that he loves. Did anybody catch his apartment number?
No.
Just 227. I don't know.
It was 3D.
Oh, No way. Did not notice that. That's cool.
3D. I wonder if that was done on purpose.
Probably.
Totally. That's something
227 would have been funny.
Yeah,
that's stuff I usually look at, so I'm surprised I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But we were watching it, I was tired. I was like, no.
As we do this little show thing, I do find myself like looking at like posters on the
Everything.
wall, and I do it more now than ever because I just want to try to catch something weird.
Yeah.
You know,
Little Easter eggs. Yeah, definitely.
like the first action hero, like that kind of thing. I was like,
Write
I
it
get
down.
what you're doing there.
So since I started
Taking
as
notes.
a book nerd way back when, that's like when I watch movies, I look for weird plants and stuff like that all the time because those like literary techniques are like stuck in my head so hardcore that those are the things that I'm constantly looking for are numbers and patterns and weird words that you might not want to use, but they mean something else that'll happen later in the movie. So I'm always looking for cues like that.
So is there anything we
It's
didn't
months.
cover that you guys would like to talk about? You might have on your list.
I think so.
I only had time to watch the movie once, but the fact that his daughter is a freaking badass as well was pretty cool. How she could handle herself, especially when we first met her.
Yeah.
Still hot to this day. Married to Pete Sampras,
Really?
Yeah.
Good work.
Bridget Wilson still needs to be in more movies. Her and Phoebe Cates. I don't know what happened, but they probably need to make a comeback together.
Yeah.
I have a question. Like, how does the movie ticket actually work? Like, what activates the ticket? Because when it first happens, it's just purely by accident and the kid is just sucked into the world and whatever. And then when Benedict does it, he does it by choice and he can just activate it somehow.
Well, the ticket does what it wants to.
Yeah, the
The
ticket's
thing, like-
magic.
The ticket is
Sabrina.
it's like artificial
own-
intelligence.
Yeah.
It just
Nobody
makes
knows
up
how
its own
magic
minds.
works. And I don't know if you ever watched The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, but
No, I don't know what
They
the
all-
fuck that is.
David Copperfield taught
don't need
them
to
how
know.
to do magic tricks.
Well,
and
he's
they had to
referencing
sign,
something to
they
me.
had to
explain
sign
it,
agreements, that they won't disclose how to do all these magic tricks. So it's magic. And you're not allowed to tell people how it works. It just does.
but This is dangerous.
That's
And
like
it should
how
not just be handed out
gets
to
to
some
everybody's house.
crazy guy that runs a movie theater.
Right.
And then
Houdini
that,
believed in him.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
held
Houdini.
on to it. It was responsible.
by
Gave it
giving
to
it
the
to a kid.
Yeah. For a premiere.
Because
problem
he
was
knew,
with
he
the-
saw the love of theater in that kid.
That was the only real question I had was like, what we never figure out exactly what makes this magic activate. There's no special word. There's no like wishful thinking. There's, click your heels 3 times.
Okay.
That's his own thing.
I think that it was like I think maybe that weird old guy said something like maybe it's you that's magic or something, like
Right.
maybe Davey's got a little bit of magic in him, and then a little bit of magic that's in the half ticket stub
Right.
works. Where's the other half of that ticket stub?
No, the
I
other
guess it had
the
to be
half
torn.
was the
It
one that
got
blew up.
torn.
He had to tear it at first. Like maybe that's
But
what
but
caused
but,
it.
but okay,
It
but
went
it blew
into
up
the-
and it floated down to the street.
No, it just blew up, and then he had to get the other half of the ticket from
From the ticket box.
The ticket box at the theater is how he got jacked.
Are you telling
back
me
in.
that the ticket that the guy had, Benedict, when he died, that got blown up, that ticket
ticket
did
was
not
gone.
land on the ground?
No,
It did.
There
It
was a
landed on the
ticket on the
sidewalk
ground.
out there.
Yeah, it landed on the sidewalk.
Like it's
Yeah.
just-
So where's
If
that
there-
half?
Let me ask you guys this: if there was
Continuity.
an activation word for the ticket, what would it be, Adam?
Oh man, activation. I have to think about that one.
You stumped him.
it's obvious. It's action
No,
Action.
I thought about that
because it's
one.
an action movie.
And it's the
Alec
thing you
did
say
not
when you
do-
start the scene.
Exactly.
Not Alakazam.
No.
Not
I'm trying to think of something clever, but
Enter
I'll hold
stage
the
left.
popcorn, you hold the talking.
Silence your cell phones.
yeah. That'd have been better. Please put up all handheld devices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go out to the lobby.
and now for our feature presentation.
All right.
Yeah, I have that shit somewhere.
Do, do, do,
Somewhere.
do. Just do the little jingle.
Oh, Showtime.
Yeah.
Showtime.
Another great cop movie.
Just want to make sure we get through the.
Also, I was noticing or when I watched it last night, the great trajectory of Nick's career. You know, when he was a kid and he met Houdini and all that because his dad was working at the theater, whatever. He was like an usher. And then he worked his way all the way up to projectionist. That's as far as he's ever made it in life.
Yep. So he was just projectionist. He owned the theater though. So I mean he had property.
I guess, yeah.
In New York City,
Yeah.
in the porn district, I think.
Right. I think that was more of like a war of attrition where he's the last guy that left. So
He's still making popcorn. He showed up like, what do you do? He's like, I think I own this building.
yeah, yeah. Right.
How old are
Popcorn
those hot dogs?
sucks.
The construction worker with the cigarette burnt, but all the way hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah, it didn't look like anybody was going to that theater. So,
So what theaters open showing movies at 8 a.m. because he's 4 hours late for school?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I get it was
This
during
kid-
COVID. But,
Well, the
you know.
guy owned it. He just did whatever he wanted.
I think like he straight up owned it, like he's not paying rent on it or anything, and
Yeah,
he's just like shooting showing movies all day. Like
Whatever. Yeah.
Sleeping up there with a newspaper blanket.
he's like
Yeah,
hooking
yeah.
up his Nintendo Wii sometimes, and he's just
Yeah.
playing like Wii tennis.
Like, what do you do for money? I own this garage. I let this kid fix up his old fucking Plymouth Fury. In the summers, I got these
This is
cabins.
why he's such a failure. All of his movie jobs make no money whatsoever. What do you mean? He invested all of his movie money into these businesses that he saw that he was playing.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And so if you guys don't have anything else, we can get into our list. Our homework.
I actually do have something else.
Oh shit.
Okay.
This is something I
Joseph.
put a little bit of thought into.
Oh. he
Let
got
me step
really-
away.
Yeah, Adam's gonna leave for this part.
Oh, is he gonna go to the bathroom? This movie is better than Inception. Not only do you have Arnold playing so many different Arnolds, you can barely keep track of them.
It's 2.
He's playing Arnold, and then another time it's actually just Arnold playing Arnold.
Okay.
And there's a lot of Arnold layers.
Okay.
And then this is what really got me. When you realize that Jack is in the real world, but this real world that Jack's in is still our movie. I realized that during the saving Danny on the roof scene. And Danny was doing incredible handheld hanging upside down, or I'm sorry, footholds and handholds and stuff,
Right.
and was able to survive this. And I'm looking at him like, no, not even in my peak physical condition
Yeah.
could I ever do
not
what
with
this
that
kid was
haircut
doing.
either. That haircut's going to cost
That little
something.
And
wiener
it's-
kid's not doing that. But
Downpour.
I was
too.
sitting there and watching, and it was like an epiphany, and I was like, oh, that's like 3 different, like our world, then the movie world, and then the movie's movie world.
It's movie Inception.
Better than Inception.
That's
You
different.
probably-
It's like
I'm probably
apples
the
to
only person
oranges.
that's ever had that take.
I already
Oh.
brought that up.
Did you talk about it being better than Inception?
No, I said it was like Inception.
Oh, well, my notes stayed.
State it.
I don't know if I can read that. If you
I'm
read
not,
that,
because
but-
I don't think it's better than Inception because they're too different to be like one's better than the other. They both were entirely different genres, but they're entirely different genres of an Inception. That's like apples and oranges.
Well, they're both movies.
Yes, very good.
All right, just saying. You know, I thought I had a pretty hot take on that. That it was like so many. There was a lot of. I mean, there's layers on this
you
thing.
just like mansplained me already saying it was like Inception.
I wrote a thing down, man.
Sabrina,
Yes.
I wrote it down. It was super
mansplaining
important.
is when a man tells a woman what something.
Oh.
I'm stupid. Get out of here. Oh
Quit.
god.
We,
The end of the movie was pretty good. I did like Jack picking up the gun and like doing like one like shot off that went right through the bad guy's eye, and basically I'm assuming so his eye must have been a bomb. I don't know if that was established before that.
they all are.
They all of them are.
They all have capabilities, apparently.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. If I'm a bad guy and I have a glass eye, I'm gonna do some weird shit. So yeah, blew it up. That was a pretty cool way for somebody to get killed in an action movie. Usually, I guess they do get blown somehow, some way. I think, geez, a lot of them do. Now that I think about it, a lot of bad guys do. So, but pretty cool death, and pretty cool ending the movie with the monster hole in his chest and the in the real world, and then going to the doctor or going back into Jack's world, and the doctor being like, "What? Why are you? Is this a joke?
Really a flesh wound.
This is barely even a foot. Get up, get back. Get back to work." Like, oh,
What could have caused that in his world? He got a big hole in his shirt, and I understand in his closet he has 14 red T-shirts,
oh yeah,
leather
I love
jackets,
that.
But what would cause that flesh wound that blew his shirt? I guess it just, maybe like a cap gun or something.
The awesomeness of action movies.
I have a quick question, and I'm sorry if you guys covered this while I was away. Is are all the Jack Slater movies like is Arnold from Jack Slater 3 aware of 2 and 1, and then if a fourth word or a fifth were to come out, is Jack Slater 3 aware of the Jack Slater 5 stuff?
No, it still happens chronologically because it's the whole world over there. Like Jack Slater 5 knows what happens to 1, 2, 3, and 4.
But 3 doesn't know what happens to 4.
No, because that's the future.
Right. Yeah.
This
I
is
think if he jumps into Jack Slater
separate
3,
timeline.
he's on that timeline of Jack Slater's life. He jumps into Jack Slater 5, then he can talk about Danny.
That's why he knew about like how he helped the Chiefs get rid of the Chief's wife to the diphtheria clinic and whatever nonsense, because they'd already seen those movies.
That's Danny, but I'm talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but it made sense to those two characters.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because it happened. Yeah.
It happened. Yeah. But they don't know the future because they're still solving mysteries.
Unless there was a recast, then it would be weird.
That
We don't know about it. That would be different.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to find out when
Yeah.
Chris gets back.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
Jack,
Isn't he the host?
Yeah.
The teacher's out of the room. What do you guys want to do?
I told Joe to take names, and
Don't worry, I made that list, Chris. They're prepared.
Vanna could have taken over, I guess. So I guess we go to our homework assignments, and the reason I came up with these homework assignments was because this movie, when I first watched it,
extra duty.
what's that?
I like to think of them as extra duty.
EMI, is that what it was called? Yeah, it was EMI, right?
Yeah. Extra
Extra
military.
military instruction.
instruction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. EMI.
Who's had that? That
It
guy.
was always, and Joe, didn't you always hold their feet to the fire when they gave it to you? They go, no, that 2 hours has to be something related to what I fucked up on. You can't just make me do whatever you want.
True. Yeah.
I don't get to mop floor because of this shit.
Yeah, I think some of the
You're gonna punish me right.
before we go into the Joe, stand and watch with Joe is one of the best things that you could possibly ever do in combat. If you're talking to him on the headset the whole time, everybody's in there telling stories, or if it's when Hancock would never relieve him on time. And it was one of the funniest things that I had ever seen at 2 a.m. He's like, "What's up?" He goes, "The fucking time, motherfucker." He goes, "You're fucking late again." One of the best things I'd ever seen. Just threw the headset down, and walked out of combat at 2 a.m. And Hancock just looks at him, just goes and sits down, puts the headset on, no turnover. One of the best things, because the whole time is that Joe during watches would just complain about being relieved late all the time.
He was always late.
I feel like I've heard you complain about being relieved late multiple times
on every podcast,
on every single podcast.
All right.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I really hate it.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. Just the 6 hours we're in there, and he's talking about watch. I bet you I get relieved late. He goes, guarantee it.
Yep.
He goes. I don't care if I got the 12 to 1800. He's going to relieve me late. Best thing I'd ever. You just sit there and just in a dark room that they use in all movies now.
Yep.
When they want to show military shit going on, they always show combat. Everybody's making decisions, and we're doing strikes and all that shit. And they don't show the real shit, like Joe worrying about getting relieved on time.
Nobody wants to watch that 6 hour
that's
snuff film.
That's Last Action Hero,
Yeah.
Okay, so my homework assignments were favorite movie soundtrack. What do you guys think about what was your favorite movie soundtrack? Andy, can you play most of the songs that you picked from your soundtrack?
No, probably. I mean,
are we doing actual songs or the movie that they come?
The movie soundtrack that you like the best.
I was like, I didn't pick a single song.
I know I could probably play a song or two off of the Crow soundtrack, which has always got to go on the soundtrack.
Are we supposed to have a top 5 on this, or just the top 1?
Top 1.
Oh, top 1.
Top 1.
The Crow is a good one, though. I just want to say
The Crow
that.
is a really good one.
I knew it wasn't your favorite, though.
I did
Also
top
my-
5 like that. Yep,
Nice.
that was one of the first cassettes I ever got.
I also might throw these soundtracks on a official playlist and put it on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
it's
work
very
with you
easy to
guys,
do a
man.
top 5 with these.
Just
Yeah.
one.
I thought we
So
were doing
Andy,
5
are-
soundtracks, 5 henchmen. and
Oh,
then-
no.
Oh, I would have never done that.
I would have spoke up.
Yeah, Adam only wants one top 5 list, and we went with Henchmen.
So, yeah, I
So what
mean,
would you say your favorite is?
yeah, I think Crow is still really always got to be number 1. It's the first one I always think of. That was.
I've never watched The Crow.
It's a good mixture.
It's a good hard rock, 90s album.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got everything from Helmet to Pantera to Gravity Kills.
Stone Temple
like,
Pilots.
yeah, Stone Temple
Yeah.
Pilots. I mean, it's
Yeah, it was a good.
all the greats.
Can't
I
read
had
all the
that,
time.
man.
Nice.
All right, Joe,
Good one.
what is your favorite?
I went with Purple Rain.
Good.
I'm not
Purple
even
Rain.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Play that.
While my dad was like a Southern rock kind of guy, my mom was more into like funk and soul and stuff like that. And there it is, buddy. And I mean, I've listened to that thing front to back. I don't know.
Oh, we all have.
We all have. But I mean, who has listened to the deep tracks, huh? This guy has. And I like them all. And I can sing probably all of them. I'll save you guys. I don't want to do that, but yeah, it's pretty solid, dude. So yeah, I'm a Purple Rain guy.
Have you ever made love to Darling Nikki?
Well, I met her in that hotel lobby.
Yeah.
I knew it was on.
Okay. I'll read Herschel's. He gave me a top 5.
Yeah. That's
He
what
thought
I
it was the
did.
top
I did
5, but
yeah.
and I told him everyone that he gave me. I said, well, those suck. But,
So pick your top 1 from his top 5.
so from his, I picked American Graffiti for him.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
And I do have that one, I know, but he said,
Watch
as I
that
asked
movie
him
either.
why he would pick these, those albums introduced me to classic songs from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And he said he would do his homework while listening to those and stuff, you know, in old Columbia, South Carolina, or whatever it was. And so I guess he has an emotional attachment to that. And I told him, I said, I do have that one.
Yeah. I was just looking at the track listing now.
Is that like George Lucas's favorite first movie, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Harrison Ford's first.
Right? Mhm.
So he chose that.
Some good songs in there. Barbara Ann. That's all you
American
need right there.
Graffiti.
Book of Love. 2 discs.
And I
Yeah,
asked him,
buddy.
I said, so after you got through your homework, did you just hop up and go to the malt shop with
To the ice cream parlor. Yeah.
You got
with
a
Wally
tab?
and the Beeve? You know?
Order a tab.
Yeah. Tab. All right, Sabrina, what was your favorite?
I think I have to give you 2 because if you try to make this into a playlist, you're not gonna, the one I picked is not gonna work so well for what you guys went for, because I went classical soundtrack
right.
with The Lord of the Rings, and I can play it on my French horn. A good most of it. But the one with like actual vocal bands and stuff like that I picked was Going the Distance, which was a romantic comedy with Drew Barrymore.
I watched
and
it last
Justin Long.
night.
Oh,
Well, and then the music is pretty fun. It's the first soundtrack that I remember I watched the movie and it was the first time that I went immediately and was like, I think I need to buy this soundtrack. So it's mostly like indie rock pop style music, but it's real fun and you can sing along and stuff. So
It was what the
I
Boxer. The Boxer Rebellion was the featured band in that movie, right?
I think it was Boxer Rebellion. Yeah. They had like Bon Iver soundtrack and
Yeah.
I can't think of anything now that I have to, but so yeah, so for if you want to go for like regular music bands and stuff, Going the Distance, but if you want to go what's in my heart, it's The Lord of the Rings.
Your heart will go on.
Nice to have.
It's a
I
pretty
can
good
think
one.
of 2. Have you guys seen Going the Distance?
I don't think so.
It's a funny movie. It's Justin Long,
Got Charlie
Drew
in it.
Barrymore. It's got Jason Sudeikis and Charlie Day, being Charlie Day.
That'd be fun.
Jason
more recent though,
Jason
huh?
Sudeikis is funny. Justin Long's good. It's a little love story about Drew Barrymore has to live in San Francisco while Justin Long's in New York. And when they first hook up, Charlie Day is Justin Long's roommate. He can hear through the walls of the apartment in New York. And when they're about to hook up, he starts playing the love theme from Top Gun because they're talking about how much Justin Long loves Top Gun. And he says, I like all homoerotic fighter pilot movies. And then Drew Barrymore is like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, that's my roommate. He's like, so you hook up, and then in the morning when she's trying to sneak out, he starts playing I've Had the Time of My Life. She's trying to sneak out.
Which
That's a good
makes
movie.
me think Top Gun soundtrack was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
Very
Kenny
entertaining.
Loggins.
yeah, it's one of the top ones, you know. Especially when you have two Kenny Loggins songs. Look at that,
So-
Footloose and Top Gun. So that's 4 Kenny
Jeez.
Loggins songs I am holding up to you right now.
But
You
Going
know?
the Distance, it wasn't such a, I mean, I don't watch a lot of rom-coms, but it was really good.
I will tell you this. I'm looking up the, because I haven't seen the movie. I'm looking up the playlist right now, and
It's pretty fun.
there's a lot of bands that I like.
Yeah, and I think it was like right before a lot of these bands got really big too. So anyways, you guys should probably do your picks too.
I will definitely be, I'm going to listen to that for sure.
You should watch it.
I want to watch the
Adam.
movie first.
No.
What do you got?
Watch it.
You know, with these things, I like to keep it more modern and not really not hot take-ish. But I was gonna go with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack, and another close one was also Garden State. I really dug that soundtrack, but I did go with for my top album or soundtrack, I went with the Transformers the movie soundtrack.
The 80s
The
one? or
cartoon?
Yeah, the 80s
or-
cartoon.
Okay, now
Yep.
I do have a CD by Stan Bush and Barrage. And that song, You've Got the Touch, he's the one who wrote it. It's on there.
Yeah,
And of course, Marky Mark made it famous in Boogie Nights.
yeah.
And okay. All right. So for mine, like I said, I was in high school. I was a freshman in 91. And that's when the grunge explosion happened. And I really like grunge. So my movie pick for movie soundtrack, as I go through all the ones I have, I mean, I can read off End of Days, Andy. I know you probably like that one too. The Crows.
Yeah. Empire
Have you
Records?
guys ever seen Judgment Night?
No.
No.
Emilio Estevez, Dennis Leary.
Heard
They
of it,
put
but-
together
That sounds
rock bands and rappers, and they all did songs together. So check out that soundtrack. I think you guys would like it. But
Kinda
I
like Triple
chose
X.
Yeah.
It's the
I
rock
chose
CD and the
singles.
rap CD. Ah, nice.
singles from the
Evan
Cameron
Goldberg.
Crowe film
Yeah.
about singles in Seattle.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe you guys can go on a little tour there. But a lot of Pearl Jam. You got some Alice in Chains on here. Smashing Pumpkins, Jimi Hendrix, Paul Westerberg.
Well,
if
it's
you remember
very
him from The
Seattle.
Replacements. Great soundtrack. So I chose it as my number one, and they have a deluxe edition that I also bought, and that has more of the instrumentals and stuff that you hear throughout the movie on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend that one. And yeah, Top Gun and Footloose are awesome.
honorable
Let's not forget-
mentions.
Urban Cowboy either. All right.
Yeah.
I had a roommate go to the
next,
Kansas City Symphony to watch Lord of the Rings soundtrack getting played.
It's
Also, shout
Good
out to
music.
Nick and Nora's Infinite playlist soundtrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
too obvious.
shout out to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Scott
Mark
Pilgrim.
Wahlberg.
Scott Pilgrim versus the
Rockstar.
World.
Oh, no.
How about Streets
There's
of
a lot
Fire?
of good ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of like
next-
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm not a real big gigantic fan of the movie or anything, but like I watched it actually the other day. It popped up on TV, and I was like, yeah, sure.
I was totally serious when I said Rio too last time. The animated movie y'all think is for children. The music is jamming. Like you will not stop dancing.
We're men. We don't dance.
We boogie.
Something is happening in that corner.
So the other, so our other EMI
Yeah.
that we gave was your favorite movie death. And the reason I brought this up, because my all-time favorite movie death was in this movie, Last Action Hero, and it is Al Long's ice cream cone to the back of the head death. When I first saw that as a teenager, I just said, that is going to be the coolest thing I've ever witnessed. Because everybody tries to gross you out with like, what's the worst death you could possibly think of? Like somebody puts a hot poker through somebody's eye or something, or a shovel through their mouth and the top of their head slides off of it, things like that. But I was like, this is my favorite movie death, and that's Al Long getting killed by the ice cream cone to the back of the head.
Good.
That's a good one. I like that.
And I don't know what temperature that cone was being kept at for it to fly through the air and be able to penetrate the skull.
Well, in '93, it's known that there was a big lawsuit because kids were getting ice cream. It was too cold and their tongues were getting stuck to it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like the McDonald's thing, but the exact opposite. It was too cold.
All right. So let's go with Adam first. What was your favorite
Don't make
death?
freezers like they used to.
So
Back in my day.
I had one, and
You're gonna
But
tell
then-
us a story about it.
well, I had one, and then on the messenger, Chris mentioned something about it could be a death that was impactful to the movie. So I switched it to the bee scene from My Girl was fucking crushed me as a kid.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. But originally I had
Glasses.
the as my favorite death scene was in Demolition Man when he kicks Phoenix's head after he freezes him, which was set up from the very beginning of the movie,
Right.
and then he completed it at the very end of the movie. So pick and choose which one you want for me.
No, those are cool. I thought about that one as well. The Simon Phoenix, the red shit busting out. And yeah, I put that whole if it changed the theme of the movie, how it made you feel. Because of Goodfellas, when they killed Joe Pesci, that kind of changed the way I felt about the movie as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Joe, what is your favorite death?
And maybe rephrase the question as well.
Yeah, I think that it could have been a little more specific because I did what Adam did. I changed it to a more impactful one, and I chose for the because I now have two, but my impactful one was
Everybody's gonna have two.
my impactful one was Bruce Willis dying in Armageddon.
Oh fuck!
And the way Ben Affleck reacts to it.
That's a good one.
Hey! Like I love that scene, and I mean, and I'll tell you, I'm an adult, and I've seen that movie 1,000 times. Every time, if I watch it from the beginning, and then that scene comes up, I'm always kind of like, you got like a
I gotta step
dust
outside.
in here, something here. I don't know, something's
Air
wrong here.
conditioner is blowing right
Right in my face, right in my face. I don't know what's happening. I don't like that part of the movie. Let's say that it is a very good scene of the movie, and really shows you that Ben Affleck really does put a lot into his craft. No, it's a great scene. I love it.
True thespian.
Outside of that, favorite death scene that's absolutely ridiculous. Officer Murphy getting killed in RoboCop.
Oh fuck! Yeah.
And it is so over the top obnoxious.
I didn't hear
Red.
what you said.
Red Foreman, yeah, Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
Oh, Robot.
When Sergeant Murphy, is that what he, or I don't even know what he is.
Oh, Murphy.
Murphy gets killed by the gang members in like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and becomes back as RoboCop. But when they're all just shotgunning him, when they're all just shotgunning him to death, I mean, his body would be ripped in half. And I mean, I guess it was because he became RoboCop. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite over the top death.
I watched
that I had
RoboCop for
originally
years on standard television,
Yeah,
And
when
then
the
I
first time you
watched
say
it.
that,
and then I
Holy
watched
crap.
it the actual version. I was like, fucking brutal, man.
It's so ridiculous. I don't like cops.
Yeah, that your Bruce Willis pick could have been impactful and best death because he does get blown up by a nuclear bomb.
On an
There's
asteroid.
pieces of he's vaporized out there into space.
That
He
was
may
the
have made it
climax
to the
of the
moon.
film.
So I want to say something about Armageddon and that death is when they get back to Earth and William Fichtner's character, who was he, captain whatever in the Air Force, whatever, Colonel Willie Sharp, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he goes up to Bruce Willis's daughter, played by Aerosmith's daughter,
yeah, Nev can't.
Liv Tyler.
Liv
Liv
Tyler.
Yeah.
And he says the most ridiculous line.
Oh, yeah,
in history is requesting permission.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Request permission to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I've ever met. And I was like, that's a lot of shit, dude.
That would
A large request.
nobody would make no daughter happy.
The bravest man I've ever met. And
I
you're
would punch somebody if they said that to me.
you couldn't rewrite this.
Get the fuck out of here.
Ben Affleck, you wrote Good Will Hunting, for Christ's sakes. You couldn't have cleaned that up a bit.
You're gonna sit by and let him do this?
Yeah.
I got
On
a
a request
story
city,
when we're not
we had to run it up,
All right, Andy, what is yours?
I just, there's so many crazy deaths and everything I could have thought of, John Wick movie or anything, but I went kind of left field, and it's really driven home the magnitude of this death in the movie about the movie. But I went with Johnny's death in the Tommy Wiseau film The Room. when he shoots himself towards the end of the movie.
Oh,
His over the top kind of portrayal of his death. You know.
this is the actual The Room, not James
Yeah.
Franco's version.
Yeah, the actual one. But it was also great, like in the Disaster Artist, how like, you know, they were shooting it and then he's like trying to make it more over the top where he's moving post-mortem to like really drive home that he's dead.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't know this movie, so I'm
But
not-
yeah, so I went with that one.
I have one that Herschel would like to submit.
Yeah.
In the movie The Thing, Norris's chest opens up and bites off Doc Cooper's arms. That was his favorite.
It is awesome.
Intense.
And now we can go to our finally our top 5 list.
I didn't get to say my deaths.
Did you? I thought I went with you first. Go ahead, Sabrina.
That made me real sad.
Maybe the death of your character on this movie group is.
Yes.
Oh,
Jeez.
When Chris killed you.
no. I'm cut off.
Okay.
Oh, my poor heart.
I thought I went around. I'm looking at the screen. I got you and Adam top left, and then I thought I went around
He
clockwise.
went straight from Adam to Joe. Anyways, so like everybody else, I have almost everybody else. I have 2.
She might
because-
cry right now, by the way, just warning you. Thinking about death might make her cry.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna talk about it for very long, so I'll be able to hold him back. But my one that I first thought of, but I didn't rewatch it, so I can't figure out if he actually died or not, was the Black Knight from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's getting his
Good
head
one.
cut off.
Awesome.
But
Well, he didn't
while
really
I was
die.
thinking about it, I was like,
Never
I'm not
defeated.
sure that he actually died. He
Doesn't.
just was in like 7 different pieces. So anyways, maybe it really
Yeah,
was.
you bleed out.
He's living. If he's not dead, he wishes he was.
Yeah. So because technically I don't know if he actually died or not. Really impactful one on me was the kid that dies in Pay It Forward.
Mm.
Did you watch that movie?
Yeah.
Haley Joel
Yeah.
Osment, and I think it was
Oh.
Kevin Spacey was like his teacher or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like the kid dies in the end, and he has this scheme to set up so that everybody, like if you do,
It was his homework assignment.
yeah, if somebody gives you does a good deed for you or whatever, then you then have to help 5 other people, and then eventually, and then as long as you tell the next everybody you help, you say you have to help 5 people to pay me back for me.
That's Pay It
helping you.
Forward.
So it's paying it forward. And so anyways, the kid ends up dying, and then everybody learns about his homework assignment, and it's like this big deal, and there's like
Yeah.
a parade and it's lights, and I
Yeah,
will
that
cry if I keep going.
That one wouldn't
I thought he
affect
just
me.
had to help one person. There was just Pay It Forward once, not 5 people.
It doesn't affect me because I think I want Haley Joel to die in every movie,
Oh,
Oh god.
and I'm just like, yeah, let's kill this
Chris,
kid off.
why would you?
Why was he the dead? Why wasn't he the dead person in Sixth Sense?
Okay, well, anyways, that was the first film I like openly sobbed to. So
Okay, yeah, I remember that movie. I did. I own that movie somewhere. I know. Pay It Forward. I have that one. Helen
Oh,
Hunt
you're
was
with
the
your
mom.
DVDs.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Anyways,
I have a
those are
lot of
my-
movies I should have never bought.
I don't think I have ever seen that thing.
Well, I've never seen most of the movies you guys just mentioned, so I'll.
No, I
start.
mean, Haley Joel Osment.
I
So
haven't watched
yeah.
The Crow or
Huh?
any of these. Like, I think
Yeah,
I've
I've never-
recognized one film that you guys have said.
Well, stick with the movie club and
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
to him. Yeah, we'll come around.
And I'll keep.
I
introducing
thought
you.
I thought you were going to say something like, oh,
Bambi's
well,
mom.
my the one that impacted me the most was my grandmother's death in my 9-year-old birthday party video.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that-
why
It was
would
bad.
anybody film that?
It was by accident.
Yeah, it was just coincidental.
That's not
You
a
guys
movie.
ever you ever listen to Anthony Jeselnik when he talks about his grandma choking to death at his birthday party? And he's like, because I still have parties, but now I'm just more careful what I wish for.
Maybe I should have let him.
He's ridiculous.
Maybe I should have let him skip me, and we would have never heard that.
No.
That's good. Okay, so now we're on to the top 5
I've
list.
actually just added that movie to a list of
There you go.
things. Yeah, because I 2000. I like Kevin Spacey and Helen Hunt.
Oh yeah, it was her.
You know, it sounds like a. I don't know if it's gonna make me cry. I don't want to watch it in like front of people. Maybe.
No, watch it alone.
Watch it down there in your basement that you're in.
Yeah.
You mean the capital of Kansas?
The
seal.
state seal looks like an afro under
I'm
it.
sitting in the governor's chair.
Yeah.
It's an official statement from the state of Kansas.
Yeah.
The governor sits in milk crates.
Yeah.
Probably.
Uh,
So now we're moving on to our movie Seamen on Film top 5 list. And this week's topic is top 5 movie henchmen. Now there are rules laid out for what a henchman can be. You have like a main villain, and he usually has henchmen. Some websites will tell you nondescript groups can't be henchmen. Some will tell you they can be. I believe nondescript groups can be henchmen because they are very important to that movie, and they are one of the things that everybody talks about with that movie. And Sabrina brought it up earlier about henchmen shooting and never hitting anything, and the most famous group that does that,
Stormtroopers.
well, they're stormtroopers. So Sabrina, let's start with you.
Oh,
Talk about your top 5 movie henchmen.
my top 5 movie henchmen. Okay, well, I'll start with my my collective one first. I tried to do mostly singular characters, but the minions from Despicable Me movie, because they're funny and they're slightly evil and they're great, you know.
I'm so glad Sabrina is part of it.
I'll tell you what. I like the pick. I like the pick. That was awesome. That was really.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I
All
like
right.
that.
I picked a really serious one. Gazelle from the Kingsman. She was the lady with like the
with the
fucking, like blade leg things.
Oh,
she was awesome.
Yeah,
that character, I'm always like, that's a badass character. That was 1. That was 2. I picked Barty Crouch, who is from the Harry Potter series. So I don't know if you guys care about that or not, but he was in there. He went undercover and tricked Harry into doing some evil shit and helped bring back the Dark Lord. So there's that. And then I'm a nerd. So Wormtongue from the Lord of the Rings series. He was whispering into the King of Rohan's ear and making him slowly turn evil, and he was Saruman's henchman.
Saruman's mouth was way cooler, but
Saruman's what?
mouth.
Mouth.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. And then I picked Carl Urban's character from Thor Ragnarok. Can't remember his name, and I didn't look it up because I thought about this earlier today and got distracted. But he played a guy who worked for evil sister of Loki and Thor, and you know what I'm talking about yet?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We're just getting blank stares from.
He had 2 AR-15s.
Yeah, he was a really cool. He was a henchman, as far as I'm concerned. He was pretty cool. So yeah.
I also like the way that you added Carl Urban in.
I thought that
our
was
recast.
And I say that I'm all for it. You know, this is mostly a Carl Urban fan club. We just all happen to be Seamen.
Don't tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought you guys would like that treat too. So
I did.
and the character was really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my 5.
All right. It was a nerd group there, but you did get Carl Urban in. The Minions. The Minions are one of them that was specifically mentioned on a website that I was on about nondescript henchmen. The Minions, the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Some of the Gremlins had names, and of course, Stormtroopers. But I guess Herschel, it's your turn. All right, man. Yeah, I like Jimmy Jump, played by Lawrence Fishburne in King of New York. Now, here's a weird one. Michael Myers from Halloween. And if you watch the part 6, he is made from the cult of Thorn to do their bidding, which is dumb, but it fits. Just read it.
Okay.
Jaws from the James Bond movies, played by Richard Kiel, who's
Mhm.
best known for playing being in Happy Gilmore.
From Fresno, has car dealerships out there.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Number
Chopping
2,
at the prices.
number 2, Bennett from Commando.
He was
He's a
gonna be
Bennett
my.
from
He was another death scene that I wanted to choose.
Yeah. Bennett from Commando, he says, or Wes from the Road Warrior, if Bennett was taken, but both played by Vernon Wells, he's a consummate movie henchman, no matter what he does. And his number 1 is Darth Vader, because he does the Emperor's bidding.
Yeah.
I would not pick. I would save that more for a best movie villain category, but yeah, Darth Vader does count as a henchman since he does work for that other dude, and actually mentions the bidding.
I'll do that
Oh,
bidding.
thank you, Herschel, for that. If you're anywhere, so Adam, what was your top 5?
All right. And I put some serious thought into this because I want to succeed in my villainy.
Just watch your arms this time. Every time you almost smack me, like every time you get into this.
Gets too excited.
You get so excited.
Number 5 from GoldenEye, Xena Onatopp.
Oh,
Good.
he was really
Formidable.
serious about this, you guys. Look at this list is insane.
Number 4 from the movie Logan, X-24, the clone of Logan. Where my number 3 from the movie 300, The Immortals.
Oh, all of them?
They were mentioned as well.
Number 2 from the Phantom Menace, Darth Maul. So I also went with
A Sith
a
Lord?
Sith Lord.
Sure.
And my number 1 henchman from The Dark Knight Rises, Bane.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always. I thought Darth Maul was like the best character they'd come out with in a long time. And when you've been in one movie, he should be in all the movies. Shouldn't be okay. I mean,
He was in
shit. Darth
Solo,
Vader
and-
Anakin got cut in half and shit, didn't he? He's still alive. I'm like, where the hell's Darth Maul at? Let's bring this guy
I wish
back.
he would have been around a little bit more.
All right, Andy.
Sure.
What we got?
Yeah, so a mix of individual characters and groups. Number 5, I went with the Foot Clan. It's a great band of henchmen, from the Turtles. Then I went with Otis, Lex Luthor in the Gene Hackman world of Superman.
Well,
is,
Ned Beatty.
Yeah, Ned Beatty is a good henchman. His sidekick there. Count Tyrone Rugen, also known as the Six-Fingered Man, was the henchman there of the prince or whatever.
Yeah.
From Princess Bride.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
He had 6 fingers.
yeah.
I was like,
Killed
wait,
that
why do
guy.
I
I know
know
who
what
you're
a
talking
six-fingered
about.
man is?
Yeah. Christopher Guest, yeah, great role there. Then, like Herschel, I went with Jaws. First, I thought when I just looked at my list, I thought, why did I pick the shark? But I'm like, even though it's
King Neptune.
You
was-
forgot your own list.
I was like, oh yeah, that Jaws from Bond, because you have to have a Bond villain somehow in there.
Yeah.
And then the Sentinels from X-Men.
Oh,
Big
nice.
giant robots. It's pretty, formidable band of henchmen, even though they're robots, but still.
I got James Gunn directing my villain henchman movie.
Tommy Gunn. All right, Joe, what's your top 5?
All right, my top 5. In no particular order.
You should really consider doing it in a particular order.
Should I do that?
I think so.
No.
But
Are you
make the
putting yours in
order
particular
random.
order?
Yeah, every single one of my top fives I've been in from 5
5 to 1?
They were
to
very particular.
He's very
Okay.
particular.
Then I'll just toss these out there the way that I think that they are. Number 5, Jabba the Hutt's little like creepy little like giggly thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what it was
I
called,
do.
but I can't think of it. Yeah.
I just remember that guy being a little like when I was a kid, like watching that movie and being like, oh, that thing's creepy as hell. Dude, he only does laugh at Jabba's weird, shitty jokes.
I want him to be part of my crew for some reason.
I could use a skeevy guy like that. I had Xenia on the top. Dude, she was perfect, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Famke.
I know what you're saying. I think I'm just crazy how you think alike, I guess.
Also another villain from a Bond movie. I did also pick Jaws. I guess when you think about it, he's the perfect villain or perfect henchman. Gigantic, and his
that one.
teeth are made out of metal.
Yeah, metal.
Yeah. Intense.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Nazi that gets his face melted. And then my number 1 is actually the Asian gentleman that got his the ice cream to the back of his head. Al Long.
Yeah.
But I like him. He's my favorite henchman in the movie Die Hard. At the beginning, when they are all about to really start the heist, he reaches his hand underneath the counter and there's a Crunch Bar, and he kind of like looks around and then grabs the Crunch Bar and eats it. And it's like, bro, you're about to steal billions of dollars, but
Got out of
you're
snack,
like,
Grounds
bro.
for that Crunch Bar.
so and he's also in like every single action movie or whatever as a henchman, but I really appreciate him being a henchman in this movie, particularly for that one reason. He got real screen time.
See, I thought about it in like a world domination setting, and Joe's like into like knocking over mailboxes.
Yeah. If I need somebody to do some henching, I want this guy on my team.
And then, the children of Thanos.
All right, so that's everybody, right? Except me.
Except you.
Yeah.
Okay, my top 5, I actually picked Henchmen. I didn't try to be inclusive.
Well, your top 5.
Did you pick the Nazi party?
No, those guys, I saw them on a top 10 list. That guy's always creepy looking, any. But my number 5 is Tommy DeVito, played by Joe Pesci from Goodfellas.
Okay.
And the reason for that is like the real stories you hear of the guy when you watch all the crap about Goodfellas. And it was one of my favorite. It was kind of like once he died, I thought the movie just kind of, you wanted it to end really quickly because it just wasn't that great as the first hour and a half with Joe Pesci. And when I was going through Chiefs initiation, they'd stand us up there and just like, and throw questions at us. And you got to answer quickly. And I would start like stumbling or something over there. And the Master Chief says, who the fuck are you? Are you Spider? Are you Spider from Goodfellas? He goes, do we need to get a gun and shoot you in the foot to get you to answer a question? And I just remember, I said, it was one of my favorite scenes, So I was called Spider throughout my Chiefs initiation. Not a bad nickname to have because it's always like the most dangerous gangster in every movie. So that's why they call me Spider, but I like Joe Pesci's character in that, everything he would say. And the movie was great when he was in it. Number 4, I didn't pick a character. I picked the actor, Vernon Wells, who plays a henchman in Commando, Inner Space, let off some steam, Bennett, for Adam's death. In Inner Space, he was the henchman who could take his hand off and put on different weapons. Herschel was also in that movie as the cowboy. I don't know if you ever see that he resembles Robert Picard.
Yeah.
And Vernon Wells was also the henchman in The Road Warrior as Wes, which he also played that character as a henchman in Weird Science a couple years later. So Vernon Wells is always a good henchman. My number 3 is Johnny Ringo from Tombstone.
Oh man,
I
that
thought
guy. Yeah.
Michael Biehn is one of my favorite actors. I always like watching movies with him in it. He
he's
got
also
to
like
bed.
the leader.
He got to bed Linda Hamilton after wearing a homeless man's pants through the whole movie. So got to be doing something right. But Johnny Ringo was not the leader of the Cowboys.
Curly Bill will.
Curly Bill was, and then Curly Bill, because I mean, I had real issues about this one because I was trying to put it
He
on
was
my
the
list.
henchman.
So you go.
Everybody
so,
look. Everybody
he
was
so
the
even
right
though he
hand,
moved up into
Ringo.
number 1 spot,
Yeah.
he's still okay. All right. Pre number 1 spot, Johnny Ringo.
Yeah, the whole
Pre-Curly.
slinging the gun around, the duel with Val Kilmer in the
Post Curly.
bar when Val Kilmer's doing because you could have picked Val Kilmer as well for this as Doc Holliday, doing the whole cup thing with his finger.
The henchmen are inherently like nefarious.
Well, Doc Holliday was. He was not a lawman.
No.
He was like an
Drinker.
anti-hero hero, though.
Right, and
Mhm.
Wyatt
Not a
Earp.
bad guy.
Wyatt Earp wasn't the squeaky clean guy either.
But they were on the good side.
There were no
In
good
this
sides of
movie.
the OK
You
Corral.
talk about our old Kansas lawman out here, okay?
Law
All right,
dog.
whatever.
I'm going to name my next dog Law Dog.
Uh,
My number
Law dog.
2 is Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon.
That's a good
One
Everything
of
one.
my,
Gary Busey is great.
One of my favorite scenes is the way they acted towards each other. You had Mr. Joshua and you had the leader who played like the Dharma and Greg dad, and you had the guy who went to buy the heroin. And the way that they acted to emphasize everything is they just said everything twice in that scene. And I was like, God damn, they're just saying shit twice. Everybody has said something twice. Mr. Joshua, your arm. And he sat there and got his arm burned. And have
two
Al
times.
Long take a look at it,
Was it like 2 times in Goodfellas? He said everything 2 times.
Yep. He goes, all right, man, all right. All right, man, all right. And of course, number 1, the reason I fucking brought this list up, the henchman, is
Benedict.
because of Al Long.
Oh.
He is a henchman in every movie.
Great movie.
I mean, here, I'll go down a list.
Yeah.
Big Trouble, Little China. He
Yeah.
was the Wing Kong Hatchet Man.
I
Lethal
remember
Weapon.
him.
Lethal Weapon, he was Indo. He actually looked at Mr. Joshua's arm after he got it burned. TV shows. He was in Spencer for Hire as what character? The henchman. The henchman. Steel Justice as Longhair. He was in Action Jackson as Delaplane's chauffeur, so the bad guy's chauffeur. Die Hard, eating his candy bar as Ooey. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Genghis Khan.
Big time role.
He was in They Live, which I know is one of Joe's favorite movies.
Mhm.
They Live as the Asian revolutionary. And of course, he's in Last Action Hero, getting his brain penetrated by an ice cream cone. He was in Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee, the Crow himself, as Mean.
He's got crazy mustache game.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what, you got to be a henchman if you're going to look this way. And
Fu
in the movie
Manchu.
Raven, he is the
But his
Black
hairline
Dragon
is
henchman.
way back here. I'm sorry.
Whoa, hey, personal appearance is not show fodder.
Well, it's just not. He's not what I don't
No,
remember this
he's-
guy at all. Like,
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
I remember a guy getting his head with an ice cream cone, but I don't remember this guy. Like he was just he was one and done. He was just whoop, in your
yeah.
face.
Remember in Lethal Weapon, he was good. He's shocking. Fucking Mel Gibson there in the ribs with that weird car, jumper cable, fucking foam brush on his rib. So yeah, nobody could take that.
Mel Gibson can.
Yeah, but Al Long, the reason, the ultimate henchman for any movie.
Great
Of course, I
action
did.
poses on Google.
I mean, I went through a lot. I thought of all the Bond villains. I thought of all of the Austin, Power characters, which, Will Ferrell's.
Mustafa.
Yeah, Mustafa is a great one.
That was a great fucking
I
scene.
do love that.
So I do want to mention, I do have honorable mentions from the movie The Wraith, Skank and Gutter Boy. They were great as henchmen. From Running Man, you could have done any of the
I know,
stalkers.
I wanted to pick one of those for my favorite death, but it was like, I mean, it's splitting hairs here.
Yeah. Well, when he killed Buzzsaw with the chainsaw up the crotch, and he goes, he had to split.
No, keep it.
You could have picked Sully from Commando, and he dropped him. He's like, where'd he go? He goes, I let him go.
Great scene.
Or, Jesse Ventura's character, Captain Freedom. Remember his exercise video? He's just running across the room going, yeah, and he's like flexing and all that. And then I also had honorable Captain Byron Hadley from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got honorable mention to Rocksteady and Bebop from Ninja Turtles.
I thought of them.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just now did.
They were on my list. No, I thought of them in like the first 10 minutes of thinking about this.
Those are definite. That's definite henchmen.
Yeah. And I thought about the foot and the putty men from the fucking Power Rangers.
Oh, those little nasty little shits.
Yeah, I thought about the Power Rangers a lot. But
because I was watching all the episodes, but
yeah, this movie kind of just spurred.
That's like the last main action phase of my movie watching career was Power Rangers era, and then and now like Marvel basically. Like
yeah, I was saying that this movie here, like, it had my favorite death, and of course it has the ultimate henchman, and then the soundtrack is just that my mom one day came home from work from Walmart, says, hey, I found this at the store today. She brought it home from Walmart, says, I thought you'd like it, and it was awesome. You had Alice in Chains, you had Tesla singing the theme song to Last Action Hero, you had Megadeth with Angry Again. Yeah. I know Andy's a big Mustaine fan, right?
Yeah.
This guy's out here making 45 albums, and firing all of his porn addicted bandmates, but he lives out here in San Diego. I didn't know that. But yeah, I said, okay, favorite movie soundtrack, favorite death, Henchmen, it all fits here in Last Action Hero. So I guess now on to the big part, the recast. Let's go with Andy. You want to go first with your recast?
Sure. It was tough to figure out which characters to recast, because there's a lot of different angles to play. And of course, where do you put Carl Urban? Because there's any number of, avenues you can plug him in. But recasting Jack Slater, it was like, I could go with Stallone because it'd be the cliche funny, but I figured, let's go a little more modern. With Jason Statham. There.
I thought of him.
So I thought that would be
because I
good.
looked like him, I guess. I don't know.
And then let's recast the angry black captain with the angry black captain of modern times, Ice Cube.
That would be pretty funny.
Of the Jump Street series. I said Carl Urban is going to play Benedict. So that'd be great to be kind of like the main.
That's a good choice, Andy.
Yeah. And then even though he's, no longer with us, I believe recast Nick as Ed Asner.
From Up.
Yeah.
And Cobra Kai, of course.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, what's your recast?
So I guess I don't know, man. I always end up feeling like I don't do this the right way. But
Do it your way, and that's what everybody's doing.
see,
the list.
I think that I need to up my knowledge of like new age actors and stuff. But I chose Dolph Lundgren for Jack Slater, and the reason I did is because he's a hard body that also has a weird accent. So he could easily slide in. I mean, he could slide in there and do the same things for the most part. I picked Christy Swanson to play Whitney Slater. But I mean, this is Christy Swanson from like Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie time. So, but it really doesn't work now that she's, like
Older.
45 or 50. And then I picked Dennis Franz to play Lieutenant Decker, the angry black captain. I recast him as Dennis Franz, the angry white guy. And then
Oh yeah.
Googling as you go.
Yeah. NYPD Blue.
NYPD Blue showed that on TV. It was a big deal.
Yep.
And then for my recast, I chose Benedict for my Carl Urban recast. Yeah, I mean, it's super easy. I know, man.
But
I
it's a
know.
good spot for him too, though.
But it's a good spot. I mean, like he could speak, in his sweet accent. He could have a dope ass eye, and I think it'd be that'd be a good spot for him. I don't know, either that or Skeezer.
You're all either gonna hate or love mine.
He's gonna play a 10-year-old boy getting kissed by a sorority sister.
Right.
Joe, your recasts were perfect. You're doing a great job on those. I appreciate every time we come to you for recasts. So don't change a thing. Adam.
No, my anxiety. I'd like you to use more modern people, but there's nothing wrong with your recast as well.
I pick them from a certain spot in time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The point
the
is,
theme.
like, if
I
you
like
were
the
to
theme.
remake the movie today.
Today, I'm gonna do a better job.
That's the problem. I don't know any kid actors today.
That's
I still
what
think Macaulay Culkin is a kid actor.
Yeah.
I don't know any kids.
they're in the movies and shows you guys are watching. You're just,
Well, I don't want to put Timothy Chalamet for every kid like
Yeah.
they do right now.
Is it my turn?
I'm putting Ricky Schroeder in half of it
last
from
time
Silver
I went to,
Spoons.
they had the Titans show and the Cobra Kai show, and there's ways around this, and I know you guys are seeing those things. Just gotta think. All right, Adam, it's your turn.
All right. I had to bring out some heavy hitters this time.
Oh,
For Danny, I chose Tom Holland. See, Joe, there's some kid actors. All right, I know he's not a child, but he's youthful
Still could
enough.
play it. Yeah.
You want a 23-year-old man, a grown man, to play a 14-year-old kid. Okay.
For Whitney, I chose Alexandria Daddario. For Benedict, I went with Mads Mikkelsen. I thought that'd be I think he's a good henchman guy.
He's Danish, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
yeah,
one of those Swedish type of dudes.
Danish.
And then I still like to I want to my Carl Urban for like big huge roles, and I haven't really found one in the movies we've been watching. So if I can't find a big huge role for him, I would just want to throw him in the background. So if somebody you're watching be like, was that Carl Urban? And so for Carl Urban, I chose Whiskers.
Right.
Motherfucker.
I was hoping you're going to say Carl Urban playing Judge Dredd walking by as he's walking into the LAPD.
He gets partnered up with somebody. With
The rabbi.
The rabbi.
Judge Dredd here with the rabbi.
No, I chose him for Whiskers.
I'm so mad right now.
All right, Sabrina.
We only have to recast 3, right?
Yeah.
Carl Urban.
3 plus Carl Urban.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just kind of wrote the cast down, so I might have gone a little overboard. So I didn't want to mess with the main crew personally, because this movie is Arnold. So if you mess with Arnold, then you have to mess with and so I just avoided that situation.
Okay.
That's how I read it. So Sir Ian McKellen, I recast as Morgan Freeman to play Death.
Nice.
I like that. That's
There you
good.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, cool.
It's
That
from
was the
God
first
to
thing I
death.
thought of. Yeah. The lieutenant or the Captain Decker or whoever the chief is,
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne. I thought that would be really fun.
Mhm.
And I went with Nick as Robert De Niro, because I think he could play a really great kooky old man at this point. Yeah.
He does.
I think he could do that well. And then unfortunately, Adam and I both chose Carl Urban as the cat
That's
detective.
Whiskers.
Because like
That
he
had crossed
said,
my mind too.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
fine.
feel like he fit anybody as perfectly as I wanted him to.
Right?
So
Just throw him in the background.
that's what I've been doing. Like I made him the ambulance driver in last, like I just throw him in as this
Yeah.
extra plot perk.
There's nothing to apologize for because that's 2 Whiskers Carl Urbans and that's 2 Benedict Carl Urbans, which now my list is going to make it 3 Benedict Carl Urbans.
Yeah, he didn't work for me. He's not skeezy enough.
No, he totally
Yeah, he
works
can't
for
be.
Benedict. I see him as Benedict, but I just
He
Not
he looks
versus
like one of those
Arnold.
actors who can turn on you and be an asshole. You know,
But
So,
he
wasn't he in Red?
I don't know. It didn't juxtapose against Arnold properly, and I refuse to recast Arnold because it's the Arnold movie. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm about to recast Arnold.
Oh God! All right, here we go.
So Benedict is Carl Urban, the Ripper. I typecasted this guy, but Brian Thompson is the Ripper. He played the Night Slasher in Cobra, and Buffalo Bob and Joe Dirt.
He is gross.
He
He's
is
a
a very
gross, scary looking
evil-looking man.
person. He
He was
scares
also
me.
the first guy to die in the Terminator, right? Him and Bill Paxton and their punk rock buddy there at the beginning, where he said, "I want your clothes," and Brian Thompson was one of them. He's a very scary looking guy, and his daughters say he's the nicest man in the world, and everybody who works with him say he's the nicest person in the world. And when he plays these evil characters, they don't get it, but
I almost made him
he
really
looks the part.
to save him.
So for the kid, Danny Madigan, I went with Bob E. Thompson. You guys know him?
where's he from?
Black kid from Role Models.
Oh yeah, that dude's hilarious.
He's does a lot of stuff with Tracy Morgan. And for Jack Slater, you guys all picked action stars and muscle bound guys. This guy is muscular. He's got a nice body.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I knew it was going to
Steve
say it.
Gutenberg.
What?
I thought you were
Steve,
going Terry
you want to
Crews.
have action and you want to play action and comedy against each other?
Yeah.
Steve Gutenberg is a master of that.
Actually, that would have kind of been kind of cool because he's,
Who's this
Yeah.
guy?
The Goot.
He's a tall guy.
Police
He's
Academy.
he's muscular. Steve Gutenberg. I watched him in Cocoon 2: The Return the other night. And
I remember him from Lava Lantula.
yeah, I mean,
I have only
Police-
seen him in the Police Academy. None of these other movies have I seen.
oh well, Police
Wasn't he in
Academy
3
1
Men and a
through
Baby?
4. Yeah,
That
Police
too.
Academy 1 through 4. Cocoon 1 and 2. 3 Men and a Baby. 3 Men and a Little Lady. All right.
It came out in 1987.
Yeah,
He
that was,
quit
that was
acting.
his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You might recognize
quit.
him from the Goldberg.
Just for reference, it was born in 88. So like
Oh,
Right. So Steve Gutenberg quit. They say he says he quit because he's a
He-
normal person. Hollywood doesn't affect him. He's not one of these people that grabs headlines or goes on red carpets. He made a lot of movies really quickly. He was in Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that, Jim.
Hmm.
And he just recently started appearing back and stuff, like
Yeah.
the Goldbergs and things like that.
Yeah.
Him and what's his name that played Jones, Michael Winslow, they both took time off to be family guys.
what is Lava Lantula?
That was the
Because he apparently has a role in Lava Lantula.
yeah. It's
He
like
he
Sharknado,
plays
but
It looks
With
insane.
tarantulas and lava.
he plays a caricature of his 80s movie stuff, and also Michael Winslow from Police Academy joins him in that movie.
Lava Lantula. Yeah. It's what is that? Who does the sci-fi movies? It's
Yeah, anything on sci-fi. If you can get like a sci-fi original, you've made
Oh my
it. I
God.
would love, like Joe said,
There's
I
a
would-
Lava
if I got a
Lantula
part
too.
like that you can be known for the rest of your life, something stupid, Sharknado, if you're Johnny from,
Ian
Oh.
Ziering
Karate Kid.
saved his career.
It's
Single
like
Santa
you'd be
saves
proud of that.
Mrs. Claus. Okay, what are we doing this?
The wheel. Well, plus, do we do the wheel and or do we do our ratings, then the wheel, then
Oh yeah.
Oh,
next
ready.
assignment? Yeah,
Yeah, we got to find out what Joe picked.
our 80s poker.
Yeah, we'll do the ratings and then Joe's pick.
Spin
How
the
many
wheel.
Dixie cups, Joey?
1 out
Joe,
of
how
10
many-
Dixie. 1 out of 10 Dixie cups. How many do I give it?
Yeah.
Seven.
All right.
7. I will tell other people to watch this movie if they want to watch a action movie or something. I would definitely recommend this. I think it's funny, and yeah, that's it. I mean, I need an action movie. Watch Last Action Hero for a little bit, man. It'll get exactly what you want it to give it. What you want out of it, you're gonna get. You're gonna get explosions. You're gonna get ridiculous one-liners. You're gonna get stupid jokes. You're gonna get feats of strength. I mean, you name it, you get it. 7. Boom.
Wipe off tar with a napkin.
If you want to see how easy it is to clean tar off the human body, you watch this movie.
Some Blue Dawn.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Andy, what's your rating?
Yeah, I want to go like an 8. It's a fun one. I also, like I said, at the beginning I credit this kind of with movies kind of starting to take themselves more seriously or whatever, with like the guns that don't run out of ammo and stuff like that, and some of the ridiculousness was reeled in after this movie. So I also consider it influential, so I'll give it the extra point.
All right, Sabrina, what was your rating?
I think I'm giving it a 7.5. I think it feels like it covers a lot of material. It's managed to be entertaining to me as an 80s action film, and so I feel like it spans time. It's not like it, like a lot of movies as they've not aged well, but I think this was aged reasonably well, and it makes sense, and I really like the deeper concept, but also the absolute joke that it is. So I would, if somebody wanted a cheesy action movie, I would definitely recommend it to like one of my friends. But yeah, so 7.5.
It's a good rating. Adam, what's your rating?
So I'm gonna be a little more critical about this.
Of course.
I get it. It's an Arnold movie. It does a lot of things that, like,
What's your
if you want to watch a 90s movie and an action movie, it does a lot of things that it does, but I can't get over the fact that they're using it as an excuse to just bust out constant one-liners, and I guess that's the point of the movie, is it's making fun of action movies. But like sometimes I just want to watch an action movie like Commando or Demolition Man and stuff like that.
Wasn't pure enough for you?
I think so. So as much as I did enjoy the movie, but I'm at the same time I still think it's kind of lazy, so I'm giving it a 6.
All right.
I feel like lazy is not a nice word.
I'm giving it 7.5 Dixie cups. It gets 6 Dixie cups just because it's an Arnold movie. I'm giving it 7.5 because it just because I picked this one out of all the action movies because it just wasn't a straight up action, Adam. Like because man, yeah, you tell me, I'll watch Point Break every fucking day.
Yeah.
I'll watch Under Siege. Let me tell you something about Under Siege. I was in Japan in a hotel, and
What?
I didn't have any English channels that had anything on it, so I watched Under Siege in Japanese, and I
watched Lost Boys in Spanish, and it was a fucking good movie still. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I picked this one because of that. So I liked it because it was different. 7.5 Dixie cups.
But it
But yeah, Cobra should be on our list at some point.
What did old Herschel give it?
We'll go. He said it wasn't one of his favorites, so we'll do 6.5.
So I thought me and Andy were aligned so far, but now I think that Herschel is gonna be my new movie buddy.
Oh, I wonder who my movie buddy is. Let's look at these ratings.
The analytics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like once a year, you want to analyze this shit, put them in next to like average out
We could
all
do,
of our ratings together.
What was Joe's pick?
You want to do Joe's pick first, right?
Yeah.
I hope it's fucking good, free for all.
Don't put that kind of pressure on him.
That's what I wanted to know.
Dude, like my heart
Overall or
instantly
what?
just got like kind of crushed. I'm like, fuck, man.
Oh,
Joe-
I'm so sorry, Joe.
Joe,
You're my movie buddy.
yeah, I think you guys are movie
You're
buddies.
my movie buddy. So
Joe, give
I
us-
don't want to crush your heart.
Give us your genre and tell us what you chose.
All right. I wound up spinning the free for all tab for 1980 to 1989.
Hmm.
So any movie from that time frame I could choose. I will tell you this, that as fun as this one is, it is absolutely crazy. Like, I mean, like, everybody thinks they have like all these ideas of the best movie from 80 to 89. I had a list. It was a thing. I whittled it down, and I'm gonna go with Raising Arizona, 1987 comedy from the Coen brothers.
I don't know.
I've not seen it. Fun.
And the I think the top 5 I want to do is top 5 botched crimes.
Well, like in cinema? Or do we
It's
call
all-
it like,
No, in your real life, Andy.
I don't know, you know, I mean, there could be crimes that were failed, like, you know, dumbest criminals kind of thing. I mean, I don't know.
No, botched crimes in like cinema.
Yeah.
I'll let you be the.
Always be in cinema.
Like, what are you talking
I
about?
don't know. You never
What, the
know.
Top 5 real life henchmen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Donnie from down the street. I saw him. He took a couple Gatorades from 7-Eleven. He gave one to the guy outside. I figured it was his boss.
It could have been one of those, you know, true life things or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
No, top five botched crimes in cinema, and I'll let you be the judge of what you think a botched crime is. You know, it can be as big as a bank robbery, but as little as petty theft. There is no in between on it. So whatever's against the law that was botched in cinema would count as a crime.
I've already thought of one.
Oh, there you go. See, yeah. So
The fastest I've ever thought of one.
that's what I chose that. Unfortunately, I think you may have to pay money on Amazon to watch it unless you already own it. I do not own it myself.
Yeah, $3.99 on Prime, but it
Um,
might open up somewhere in the next, you know, month if we get lucky. But yeah,
Yeah.
no big deal.
So unfortunately, I'm sorry that I had to force everybody to buy something.
I
This
bought
one's
Last
worth it.
Action Hero, you know. So
But I will tell you this: holy crap! I mean, at least when you roll a sliver that says, you know, like comedy or action or something, I mean, you've taken out a large chunk of movies.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, like all the things that I had written down, I was like, some of them were too cliche for like a movie club kind of thing, and then the other ones were like too obscure to where I think that I may be the only one that liked them. I don't know. So Raising Arizona. Has anyone else seen this?
Me and Herschel.
Okay, Andy,
I have not seen it yet.
Adam.
Yeah.
No,
So-
no.
This has Joe's doppelganger in it,
I've heard a lot about it, so I'm
grabbing a
excited.
baby off the street with a motorcycle.
So yeah, we're gonna do Raising Arizona and top 5 botched crimes.
Gotcha.
One homework assignment.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I'm on the group message. I know what's going on. You can't have 15 of them.
Do you want to? What do you guys think? Should we spin for Herschel, or do you want to wait until he starts participating?
Well, we,
Do we move forward without him?
we start at the beginning now, right?
Well, it depends on how we want to proceed with Herschel.
Well,
Have all pick movies.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't think so if he can't make it here. But I don't know what he
I'm
can't make it
also
here for.
in agreement that we may just have to move back to the beginning, whoever was number 1, or maybe we do like a snake where like number 1 is now the last. I don't know.
I thought we were going back to number 1.
Yeah, we're going back to number 1.
Let's go back to number 1.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
Andy.
What
I thought that was you, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, you picked the first movie.
You
Yeah.
picked Smoking
Oh.
Aces.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
All right.
unless you're not counting yourself as one.
Do you,
Oh,
not want,
me?
you don't want to go?
No, I'll go.
All right, cool.
Oh, it was me.
You gotta take
Adam, we're
free
picking
for
your
all
movie. Aren't you excited?
Hell yeah.
out.
All right, spin
Can
it.
So,
Damn, that went by quick then.
four.
You want me to click it?
You
Oh,
gotta take the free for all 80 to 89 out.
We don't want him
It's
to.
not showing
Take it
up on
out?
my screen.
I don't
Not on the
see. Oh, I see it.
oh my God, we're stuck in the 80s.
Mine didn't spin.
Yeah, it didn't spin, and
Mine didn't spin.
free for all
but-
was still on there.
Action, 1980 to
It didn't spin for you guys?
1989.
No,
Did you hear me?
I did hear you.
Action.
We trust that you guys
1980
aren't messing with
89.
us.
No, he fucking just done
I
it.
heard the sound of it through it though.
Did you not hear the exasperation in my voice
Or
about being
disappointment?
stuck in the 80s?
Nothing
I
wrong with
did,
being stuck
I
in the
did.
80s.
we were just in the 90s though, with Last Action Hero.
The 80s
This will
are
be
better
the
than any
third
decade
80s
so
movie in the
far.
row.
We
No,
did
we
two
just did a
two
90s
horrors
movie.
Yeah.
I know, between Chris, 80s, Joe, 80s, Adam, 80s. That's what I say. That's 3 in a row.
I was 90s.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Last Action Hero was a 90s movie.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
93.
why does it feel like the 80s?
Because it's got
'Cause
Arnold.
it's Arnold.
Because it's Arnold.
Arnold could put out a movie next year. I feel like the 80s. I mean, finally, he's just killing a lot of people again.
All right, guys. Check out the Average Edge of podcast if you want to hear some more serious stuff. Talk about more military/Navy life. And then tune in next month when we watch when Joe takes us through Raising Arizona.
All right.
Botch and crimes.
All right, say bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.